be day 2 of the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. From what I'm looking on TV, it seems like a prestigious affair. You know, guys in short shorts running sprints. Isn't it great?
That's riveting, right?
Wire to wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson coming up in just an hour from right now. Cole, you and I, 2 guys who are out of shape, going to be running sprints. We measured a track outside of the radio station. We're going to take our phones outside to rock some StreamYard, and you Tolos are going to get to watch Cole and I run the 40 right outside of the station. The question is, who's going to be fastest? Who is going to shred their ACL? Who is going to make excuses?
I like excuses.
It's going to be riveting stuff.
I've already thought about some excuses.
Well, my ankle's a little sore today, you know.
You got to think of, anytime you do something like that, you always got to have 2 or 3 good excuses.
I've been nursing an injury from a couple of weeks ago, like a repetitive stress injury.
I want to get below. It's 4:20 today. I want to get below Diesel. I want to go 6 seconds. I think I can get below 6 seconds.
Do you think so? Here's where this is going to be a battle, Cole. You and I both work out, not a lot, but you know we go to the gym. Neither one of us runs sprints over the course of our daily workouts. You've got me by 13 years. You're 27, is that right?
28.
You're 28 years old, so you got me by 12 years.
Yeah.
I did CrossFit for a long time, but then I took a lot of time off between doing CrossFit and getting back to the gym. So I'm kind of getting myself back right again after a long time and not working out. So see, here I am building up the excuses for why I'm going to be slow. The question for the Tolos is, who do you think will run the fastest 40 between Cole and I? Start texting 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-326-3663. This was impromptu as could be because I was trying to take the dog for a quick walk before heading here to the station, and I get a call from Cole, and he says, hey, what kind of shoes are you wearing? I was like, well, I'm wearing boots. What are you talking about? He goes, can you get a hold of some running shoes?
Not in your bleep kickers.
Yeah, I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I can. I'm still at the house. Good, bring them because we're running 40s.
We're running 40s. I know you think this is a radio show.
40s.
Yeah, I know you think this is a radio show, but we're doing a little. I mean, I thought in honor of the NFL Combine today, and we go head to head. It's a Friday in February.
Right.
I mean, there's not a ton of sports going
67 degrees outside, and nice. It feels like 90. That's the crazy thing. After what we've had.
Scotty from BMW asked on the text line, do you guys have a cardiologist on standby?
No, but we do have Rob Jones from 98.9 WORD.
And he's close to a cardiologist.
I mean, he's got a heart. So I mean, yeah, I guess in that sense, he has some expertise.
Rob is our stopwatch man.
Stopwatch guy.
Yeah, you got to get the stopwatch. He'll be standing at the light pole. We're going from the dead turtle to the light pole. Well, that's true.
Like what? I didn't even know what you're talking about. I was like, is there just a dead turtle in the parking lot that
I
didn't know
turtle,
about?
Right?
There's a headstone.
Okay.
So this is we're taking people back to some like ancient Odyssey before that intercom days. So this is from the Hawk and Tom show. Okay. They had a pet turtle. Somebody there had a pet turtle, and it died. Sadly, R.I.P. And they held a funeral for it here at the station, and they planted it. They buried it out in front of the radio station and planted a headstone for the turtle. And I don't recall the turtle's name, so we're gonna have to report on that as well when we get out there. Yeah. What the turtle's name is? I think his name was like Scooter or something like that.
That's an oxymoron.
I could be wrong.
Right?
I could be wrong, but
Scooter.
Yeah, but yeah. So. Look, the Vikings used to believe that every man dies twice. You die the first time you die, and then you die the second time. The second time you die is the last time somebody speaks your name out loud. So Scooter lives, okay? Scooter lives. He's out there. He's in our hearts every single day. It's Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. A big show up for grabs today. Stephen Webb says Rob Brown could beat you both. Just ask him. Well, Rob Brown knows ball, and knowing ball trumps everything, right?
Michael says, as I've said, I played for years. Word of advice, stretch those hamstrings. First thing to pop, also the Achilles. See it every spring training when I go.
When us old guys go back,
says Michael. hamstring right here in the back of the leg, right?
I'm going to stretch the hammy.
4 o'clock, we're talking Clemson baseball in South Carolina. And then after that, we get a break, commercial break. I'm going to stretch during the commercial break right here on the floor. And Diesel, to start the 420 segment, is going to go down. I'm going to make sure everything's still floating and on air, and then I'll join them. But I think stretching out's
it's very smart.
Yeah, very, very smart.
You can't just run cold.
I mean, what would our boss say if we said, "Hey, man, we so and so tore his Achilles or his ACL"?
Say, hobble your ass back to the studio and finish the show because I'm not letting you go home early for this.
How did you tear your ACL sitting in a chair talking about sports on the radio? But you know what? You do things and you ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
So we got coming up in the next segment of the show, Lou Bezjak of the State Newspaper going to preview the Upper State Championship weekend in high school basketball. Fantastic guest. Every time we do high school local sports, it always blows up. You guys love local sports, so we love being as local for you as we possibly can. Coming up at 3:45, Dennis Dodd of CBS says we are that close to getting a college football CEO.
I'm ready.
What's the latest on that story? That's coming up at 3:45. We'll be talking Clemson, South Carolina baseball, which first pitch of that series is going to be at 7 o'clock this evening,
4
right
hours.
as we're going off the air. NFL Combine, a weekend menu, all the best things that you need to be watching throughout the weekend on television. And again, of course, at 4:20, Cole and I will go outside and run the 40. The question is, can we be faster than any of the D linemen who ran the 40 yesterday? These are big dudes, okay? Yeah. These are big, fat dudes whose job it is to slam into people.
And they're fast.
So it's a little. I'm nervous. I don't think we're going to approach what 21-year-old future professional athletes are able to do, even if they're like 6'8", 350, 360. I don't think we can come close. I genuinely don't.
I would like the Tolos also to participate by seeing if they can guess, not like pinpoint exactly, Diesel, but guess pretty close to where they think yours and our time will be when it comes to the 40-yard dash. What will our times be? Tolos, guess on the text line, also on the stream. What do you think Diesel will run? What do you think I will run? Doesn't have to be dead on, but see if you can get pretty close. My goal is under 6. You think that's
6
doable?
seconds? Well, Tom Brady ran it. You looked it up earlier at a 5.1. 5.11.
It was
40.
fast for Tom.
That's quick, and he was out of shape when he was coming out of college, going into the NFL.
He didn't even look like an athlete.
Sub 6 would be great. Sub 5.5, I don't think we're going to touch. I don't think either one of us is going to touch sub 5.5.
Below 5.5. Yeah, that's that. You know what? I will say this: below 5.5 is that's considered fast, right?
That's quick, and I don't think either one of us are going to approach that. I don't.
I'd be happy with right on the half.
Also, remember, Cole, to warm up, run the sprint a couple of times before you run your actual sprint.
I take off my.
You got to take off the hoodie. Yeah, that'll slow you down, too.
Hat. I'm going to strip down nude out there.
Well, if you turn it around backwards, every kid knows if you turn your hat around backwards, you're more aerodynamic. Yeah, you run faster.
That's true.
Did you wear your PF Flyers today? They make kids run faster and jump higher.
Shoes?
Yeah, PF Flyers.
No, I have Hey Dudes on, which is not good.
Oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Well,
you may lose a shoe.
I could, but I'm not making excuses yet. Wait till about 4:25, and I'll have a couple of excuses for you.
Good thing is I do know where the first aid kit is.
Good.
It's in the downstairs
And you know the number to
kitchen.
911 too, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think I can remember it in a pinch. But Cole, the actual NFL Combine is going on right now. Yesterday was defensive linemen and linebackers. Today, DBs and tight ends. What stories are coming out of the NFL Combine? Well, genuinely, I don't care much about what's coming out as far as the athletes and how they're running. These are fast guys. They're all fast. They're all strong. And we're going to get a good sense of who's a little faster and who's a little stronger than each other. But it's a whole thing about splitting hairs, Cole. But the big story that came out today, and this was up in the air until just about 30, 45 minutes ago, Matthew Stafford will return to the LA Rams for the 2025 season. This was up in the air. Apparently, the Raiders were very interested in him. The Raiders have the 6th overall pick. They've been linked to possibly drafting Shadur Sanders. I mean, that could have blown this draft apart.
Sure.
Today.
And to follow that, after it was reported, Diesel, that Matthew Stafford was staying in L.A., Adam Schefter reports, this is 1 hour ago, with Matthew Stafford remaining with the Rams, and I know you're going to love this. I know you're going to love it. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it. You're going to love it. The New York Giants are investigating all veteran quarterback options, including
Cam Newton,
Aaron Rodgers, per sources.
So that means they were really in on Matt Stafford. They wanted him bad.
Here's what's interesting. What if the Giants go get Aaron Rodgers? And then what if the Giants draft Shedeur Sanders? Aaron Rodgers and Shedeur Sanders on the same roster. Can you sign us up for Hard Knocks right now? I mean, can you imagine?
What's the point in watching? Aaron's not going to be there. He's going to be in, like, Dubai chasing down the local pygmy tribe.
Those personalities on the same roster would be insane.
And you know Deion would be around.
Oh, he'd be on.
Can you imagine what it would be like, Cole, to see Deion pull Aaron Rodgers aside, like grab him up by the little neck roll and pull him aside and be like, you're not going to talk to my son that way?
I don't know, man. It would be it'd sell some tickets, wouldn't it? But I think it's interesting. I don't know if it'll happen.
JD says the Giants have 0 QBs under contract currently. Some have said it's the best QB room they've had in years.
You know what, JD? That's a good point.
It's funny. Matthew Stafford coming back. He was an average quarterback last year in the NFL as starters go. 13th best in yards, 15th best in touchdowns, 12th best in QBR. So he was good. He wasn't great. He wasn't blowing anybody away. He's probably not going to go win you another Super Bowl. But with the Rams drafting, they drafted 26 this year. Ooh. I don't think they had much of a choice. If they had moved on or couldn't get a deal done with Matt Stafford, they were going to be in a position where they were going to have to trade up to go chase a quarterback, I think. If they could have gotten up to maybe 15th or so, they might have been able to go grab themselves Bo Nix and called it a day.
It's interesting because I think Matthew Stafford returning to L.A. gives them a chance. Look, he wasn't great last year. They weren't great last year. I think at times once they got some wide receivers healthy, Diesel, they were pretty good last year at times. They were not consistent. They started the year a little bit rough. But I will say this. I think Matthew Stafford's the best option there. You look at quarterbacks, you look at franchises. Take, for example, the Raiders. What's Tom Brady doing? We said yesterday on the show that Tom Brady, Diesel, is going to stick with Derek Carr in Vegas. Do we think that Derek Carr is going to go win him a Super Bowl? No, but for whatever reason, these GMs and directors of player personnel and those who are making the decisions must like the veteran quarterback more than they do taking a chance. And to your point, you mentioned their draft pick is not in prime quarterback position at 26. Is that right? 26.
That's correct.
So they'd have to take a big gamble on somebody, maybe a Will Howard, right? I don't think Will Howard's going in the first round, but I do think Diesel, the LA Rams, as you get to day 2 and day 3, I think they're then quarterback shopping because it's not a lot of high risk, right? You don't have to risk a lot for one of those picks later in the draft to maybe go replace Stafford.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch how this plays out. There's always a whole long line of dominoes, and you think that the first one is going to be pushed over and it's going to, do this is going to happen. No, this is some kid coming in, just sweeping them all off the table, and we're setting them up starting fresh.
I heard somebody the other day, Diesel, say this, and I think it was a guest on the Rich Eisen show, and I thought they said it so perfectly when it comes to quarterbacks. We don't talk about this enough. We do talk about it, but we don't talk about it enough. So many things have to go perfect. So many things have to go really, 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 really good for a quarterback to work out in a certain city, in a certain franchise. There are so many variables that sports fans that are listening to this show, to this station, don't think about.
They just think it didn't work out. That player
guy sucks.
Sucks.
He's no good. The quarterback position, man, there are so many variables that go into it, and I think that's why you have so many misses, so many guys that don't pan out, right?
Prime example, Sam Darnold. He was a miss in New York. He was okay in Carolina, had himself almost elite handful of games in Minnesota.
Great regular season.
And then things kind of fell off the rails. So situation really, really matters in the NFL. Two more storylines to get to quickly, Cole, and this one's your team. Ashton Genty, who has been linked to the Cowboys a lot over the past couple of weeks, apparently has not even met with the Cowboys. So,
Ashton who? Ashton who? We don't know who Ashton is. Who's Ashton?
We're going to be specifically vague.
We're going to be, what did they say yesterday? They're not all in, but they're, what was their free?
Selective?
Yeah.
Selectively aggressive?
Something dumb.
Something dumb. So, I mean, I don't know if that concerns you. One of the better running backs in this NFL draft, Ashton Genty, has not even had a conversation with the Cowboys. And this one, Cole, I wonder if this is necessarily the smartest tact for Quinn Ewers to take. Apparently, Quinn Ewers met with Mike Tomlin of the Steelers, and the conversation wasn't really even about diagnosing plays. It's not situational. What would you do here? What would you do there? Mike Tomlin wanted to talk to Quinn Ewers about his education. And he asked him things like, what was your academic standing? What was your major? What were you studying? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And Quinn Ewers quoted Cardale Jones to him. "We didn't go to college to play school," which, if you're in a job interview, isn't exactly the right thing to do, to quote a guy that sounds really stupid. So Quinn said, this is a quote, direct quote from Quinn, he just wrote it down in his notebook. You know, they say C's get degrees, but I didn't finish school. They didn't put me on the board to draw up plays, which was really them and one other team that didn't get me on the board. I think they were just trying to get to know me. I know they're going to be at Pro Day for me. I'm sure we'll have a conversation after both of them. So
trying to sound like a football guy, but instead coming across as
dumbass.
Yeah,
not a smart move.
That's weird. That is weird. I don't know that I like that.
Like, Quinn, you're not mocked to go in the first round. I don't know that being a overly cocky jerk is the right way to handle Mike Tomlin.
It's interesting. Yeah. Hey, it's a
bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it works out for him.
A very interesting approach. My last combine thing is, you know what I want to see? I want to see in the combine something implemented. The same thing you and I started the show with on Tuesday, maybe? The tush push. I want to see the tush push in the combine. How well can you push the tush?
Hey, that should be a running back workout. I mean, look, it's a sled drill, right? That's all it is. It's a sled drill. Just have them see how far they can push a 500-pound sled or a 1,000-pound sled. I don't know.
Can you imagine us tuning into the combine? All right, we're getting to the tush push section of the combine now, where this quarterback is Will Howard's going to line up and see, if he's good at pushing the tushes. I don't know. I just think that ultimately that rule is going to be talked about for a very long time.
Tolo Phil on the text line says neither of you are getting under 6 seconds.
What?
Let's see. This one from JD says Cole will be a 5.8 and Diesel will run a 6 flat.
Tolo Phil's underestimating us, isn't he?
Texter says, texters, help us out. Put your name on your texts. Texter says, I'll run a 6.7 and you a 7 flat. Oh, that was from Scotty from BMW. Thank you, Scotty. And then let's see. Another texter says, low investment, high potential for a team in need of a quarterback. Get Hendon Hooker from Detroit.
I don't know about that. Hey, coming up next, Diesel, you mentioned it. You teased it just a few minutes ago. Lou Bezjak of the State Newspaper joins us in the next segment. He has like 50,000-plus followers on Twitter. Lou's the best. The Upper State Championships in high school basketball this weekend started last night, actually, in 1A. There are a lot of games on the docket. Let's see what Lou Bezjak thinks about the Upper State and potentially the matchups happening in the state championships in high school basketball. We'll talk to Lou next. time to bring it local in this very segment and talk a little high school basketball with one of the absolute best. Lou Bezjak of the state newspaper covers high school basketball. Upper state championships happening right now. Began last night in Florence, South Carolina. And Lou is there. So we go to Florence, South Carolina, and bring in Lou Bezjak of the state newspaper. Lou, how are you, man?
Pretty good, Cole. How you doing, man?
Let's try that again. Lou, can you hear us now?
Yeah, Cole.
Sorry about that. I'm good, man. Fantastic. Appreciate you hopping on with us. Look, man, you're in Florence for Upper State Title Weekend. We, on our document.
Lower State, too.
Lower State as well. Thank you for that. Upper State and Lower State. You know, it makes a lot of sense, Lou, just first of all, for Lower State to be in Florence. Just saying. Yeah. I don't know your thoughts on that if you want to speak on that, but we can start there. Thomas Ryan was on the show a couple of days ago, and I
listened.
Yeah, he was very vocal about it. What are your thoughts on Upper State playing in Florence?
Well, I think they just need to get the name Upper and Lower State out of the bracket. Just say Upper and Lower State bracket, or just bracket 1, bracket 2. And just I'm a fan of the one site though for both all the semifinals.
So
I think it's good. If you want to watch. Yeah, I'm a big, whether it be in Florence, Columbia, Greenville, whatever. I'm a fan of the one site for all the semifinals and then even the finals. So yeah, I like it. I know it's a little taxing for some of the teams like Dorman. I think Walhalla, the Walhalla girls that play later tonight. I know they spend the night. A lot of teams spending the night because this year they're letting teams at least shoot around before on the day of the game. So I don't know if Dorman's coming down tonight so they could shoot around in the morning before their games tomorrow night. So that's at least you get at least about an hour to get used to the backdrop in the facility. But we'll see. It's year 2. We'll see going forward if it's going to be continue or just they'll go back to 2 separate sites. I know it will be talked about in a couple of weeks. So when the ADs meet in the spring in Charleston.
Lou, and forgive me, I know I'm not as plugged into high school sports as you and Cole Bryson are, but is it a result of, they would like to put it in Columbia, but the facilities availability just isn't there? Obviously, with South Carolina men's and women's basketball still playing right now, it'd be hard to get into Colonial Life Arena. I don't know if there are other arenas big enough to be able to handle that have the right amount of amenities for it. Is that the reasoning behind putting it in Florence in the first place?
Yeah, because like Columbia, they could Colonial Life couldn't commit to they're doing 9 days, 8 games or 8 days in 9 days, something like that. 9 days, 10, I forget, but yeah, they couldn't with USC men and women still going on, and I know Greenville's booked too. They got the SEC with the SEC women's championship there, so it's a little bit hard there as well. So this is the only, as far as the biggest facility that can accommodate it. I mean, there's maybe some big high school gyms, but or maybe even North Charleston, but that hasn't. I don't think they put in a bid. And Florence has kind of worked with the high school league, and as far as the pricing and stuff, and they moved wrestling championships down here from Anderson to there this is the first year for that. They did that last weekend. I know that was a success. We're talking to some of the wrestling coaches, so we'll see. Like I said, they're trying something different, one site thing, and just basically 9 straight days of basketball for people to come watch.
That's a lot of basketball, spread out, Lou, like you said, over the course of 9 days. 2A girls, Eau Claire versus Clinton on March 4th. 3A girls, St. Joe's and Walhalla tonight at 6 o'clock. 4A girls, South Point and Westside. 5A girls Division I, J.L. and Blythewood. 5A girls Division II, Greenville and Greenwood on March the 5th. Starting with the girls' side of things, Lou, the girls' side of the bracket, really good state championships, upper state and lower state championships that you're going to see over the course of those 9 days, as you talked about. Which game or games, you can add an S on there as well, really intrigue you the most when you look at this girls' slate?
Yeah, I think you hit it, Blythewood jail, man. This is Blythewood's only second appearance. They're pretty talented. They got the experienced team, even not too many seniors, but they've been playing together a long time. And Jail Man is really good and beat a good Dutch Fork team. So I think definitely that's one of the games for sure. Getting to watch the Andrew Jackson girls 2A, they might blow through the competition, but I think that's going to be their games are going to be phenomenal. And then Class A state championship next week that the two teams that won yesterday, Lee Central Military Magnet, should be really fun for sure. And I think everyone knows about the 5A Division I. We got one team already in the state championship with Somerville advancing after Ashley Ridge was booted out of the playoffs officially today when they lost their appeal to the appellate panel, so because of the use of an eligible player. So Somerville's already punched their ticket to the 5A girls, and they should be fun to see if they play J. Old Man or Blythewood. I think that will be a good championship game as well.
Lou Bezjak of the State Newspaper covers high school sports all over the state of South Carolina. I know it was a big point of contention in the football playoffs, and I think maybe we've had you on a time or two before and asked this question specifically when it comes to football, but I want to ask it about basketball as well. How prevalent are the charter schools in the state playoffs? Again, forgive me for not knowing high schools as well as you two do, but are any of these schools charter schools, and does it feel like they just have a massive advantage?
Well, I mean, they got two that are playing. And one right now, Oceanside girls, they've moved up to 3A, but this is their first trip there. Their boys lost the other night to Keenan. Great Collegiate, which has been a kind of staple of the boys, they lost in a thriller the other night in North Augusta, and they're used to being here. And then we got another one. We got a new school, Atlantic Collegiate, which is in their first year, and they're in 2A, and the Atlantic Collegiate boys, they're going to be playing in next week. So we got two. I know we had the success with Mountain View going to the championship in their first year, but I think going forward, the charter schools, at least in the first couple of years, I don't think they're going to be new schools aren't going to be eligible for the playoffs. I think either their first year or second year, either first year for sure, and then maybe it'll be 2 years before they're eligible for the playoffs. I think they have that. So going forward, some teams have had success in their first couple of years, some have not, but yeah, and we're just going to get more charter schools on the way. I know there's one opening up in Hilton Head next year, and I think one in the Florence area, and and we just had another one open up in Lexington. They didn't have the success in football and basketball yet so far this year.
Hey, Lou, you mentioned the situation with Ashley Ridge. I obviously saw bits and pieces of it online on social media, but for those of us up here in the upstate, we had a similar situation, I believe, with Somerville back during baseball season that Diesel and I talked about. But refresh us, let us know what happened with Ashley Ridge, and I believe you just mentioned that they are disqualified. Is that right, from the playoffs?
Yeah, they lost their yesterday 14-0 before the executive committee and 5-0 today. Yeah, we had something like that. It was more with the pitch count.
That's right.
In baseball, it involved Ashley Ridge benefited from that because Somerville was disqualified because they threw two kids threw too many pitches in the series. But yeah, they came to the high school league's attention. Anonymous source actually turned in both Somerville and Ashley Ridge, but Somerville won their appeal yesterday, and Ashley Ridge they admit they messed up this part. They didn't file the girl that played at Cane Bay last year, and she transferred, and they never filed the paperwork. And but they were trying to. Their appeal today was more. And then the high school league said she didn't have the bona fide change of address, so that was 2 strikes against them. But they were arguing today that, yeah, we screwed up with the paperwork, but there was a bona fide change of address, and if they would just be the paperwork, it would be like $100 fine. But here, it was voted against. I mean, they tried everything they could. They threw everything they could today, but it was just no. So it's interesting. I hate it. And they wrote even a letter to the appellate panel just trying to state in their case girls from the basketball team. But you hate it because they worked so hard. They were the number 1 team in the state in 5A Division I, and now don't get to play, at least in the semifinals. So you hate it, but things like that, it falls on the adults most of the time, and it'll be interesting to see there with that one-time transfer rule now being talked about and going to be voted on in March to see what happens if that passes, and things might loosen up a little bit, and maybe we don't see something like this going forward.
Lou, among the schools that are still in it, especially here in the upper part of the state, who is your favorite team, regardless of division, like style of play, or a team maybe that you think they could go toe-to-toe with just about anybody who's in the playoffs, regardless of division?
Yeah, I think you look up and, I mean, it's I like Dorman. I do. I love Thomas Ryan. I love what he's done at the program, and them playing Blythewood, which I think they've had a great year. They got T.J. Lewis, one of the best players in the state, had a school record 45 points earlier this year, and that should be a fun semifinal. And then you look at Ridgeview on the other side of the bracket. I mean, they're going for a second straight championship. I think 6th overall. So I really like those teams, and I think the 4A games on Monday. You got Lancaster and in the upper state, Lancaster and Wren, and then you got Wilson playing North Augusta. That should be a really fun matchup. Those 4 games, I think 4A is, my opinion, has been the best as far as like top to bottom, the depth in that classification, both boys and girls. I think the 2 semifinal games on Monday, or the 4 semifinal games on Monday, have a chance to be really special.
Hey, Lou, you mentioned Dorman, and I want to park there for a second for this question. We talk about this with other levels, with Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. What quarterbacks and what teams did not win a Super Bowl because of Patrick Mahomes, because of Tom Brady? Dorman has put, quite the resume on paper the last decade and a half, and I believe the Blythewood, a little bit of similarities there, or familiarity, rather, because of them playing in, I think, Thomas Ryan's first or second state championship.
It was the first one, yeah.
First one, right? And they won. And you look back, there's been some good 5A teams, and I ask you the same question. With Dorman is being as strong as they've been, what programs do you feel like have had really good teams but just haven't been able to get over the hump because of Thomas Ryan and the Cavaliers?
I think Irmo, even though they won their championships, they look at the team they beat and the other team. I mean, you look at even Burns. I mean, they won their state championship, but who knows how many they would have won? Maybe they've been good. Same can be said for like Ridgeview. They've been bouncing around between 4A and now 5A now with the split, and that's why if you get Ridgeview and Dorman state championship, I think people would sign up for that. I mean, they met a few years ago in I think the 3rd round. The COVID year maybe when G.G. Jackson was there and Dorman came in and won. So yeah, Dorman's definitely been the standard, and Ridgeview as well. So they've kind of separated themselves in the top classifications 4A and 5A from everyone else.
Lou, a couple of hours ago, you posted or retweeted a video of a robot painting lines on a baseball field. Really fascinating just to watch this thing happen. It feels like I'm watching Star Wars and R2-D2 is out there painting the lines on this thing. I just wonder how long in your mind, because it seems like it's happening faster and faster every year, will it take for technology on that scale, that automated balls and strikes, Hawkeye tech that's coming to football, all those types of things, to start trickling down to the high school level? I know they're working on the Hawkeye at the major league level, in the NFL level. They're working on automated balls and strikes at the major league level. That stuff's going to start trickling down. So in your mind, if you had to take a guess, how many years away are we from seeing that stuff in high school?
I would probably say the high school level, maybe like a decade or so, maybe a little less. You already saw it. It started, was it last year? Yeah, with the pitch, coaches being able to talk to the catchers with the headset or the earpiece, and you could signal in the pitch on the wristband to the pitcher. I mean, that was approved by the National Federation a year or two ago, and I know it's popular, and most of the teams use it, and it helps. You don't have to do the old antiquated signals. If your signal's it's going right into your ear, and your pitcher could look into the wristband. So I think stuff like that will probably trickle its way down. It might not be as quick, but I think we'll definitely see it in sooner rather than later.
Lou, before we let you run, my last question for you. You mentioned it already. There will be a proposal sometime soon for there to be a rule implemented for a one-time transfer, and that's it. You probably have the name of the rule, and it's a lot more professional than what I just said. But can you go into that a little bit more in depth?
Yeah, it's going to be voted on. It was already approved by the executive committee. Now it will go before the AD meeting in a few weeks in Charleston. It's a one-time transfer rule in your first 6 semesters. So between your freshman, sophomore, junior year, you get one time. You can go anywhere you want. But you can go anywhere you want as long as it's done before the before the start of practice or the start of the season. If you go after, you'll have to sit out, penalties, think of percentage of games and stuff like that. And if you wait till your senior year, you would to do it. If you don't do it until your senior year, you're ineligible for the playoffs. Wow. You'll be able to transfer. You could transfer that year, but you would be ineligible for the playoffs. I think the little twist would be next year. Obviously, the first year, what do you do with the seniors? That are seniors, that are going to be seniors. But I think that you could just apply for a hardship that way. But it's definitely going to be a game-changing thing. I do think it's going to pass. Something like that was voted on a couple years ago, but it wasn't much. The proposal didn't have much teeth. They've done a good job researching the people and at the high school league and on the executive panel in the committee that did this. I think New Jersey's kind of the model they followed, and it just kind of prevents kids from jumping from school to school. Yeah, you can do it. I mean, if there's a legitimate, people's like, what if it's a legitimate move and you already used a one-time transfer? Then you would have to apply for a hardship, or there's kind of exceptions with military, or if kids homeless or something like that. But I do think it's going to pass. There's a lot of momentum, and especially with things like this week with Ashley Ridge and what's happened then, transfer, at least one-time thing, it puts it out of the hands. The schools along, I guess the caveat is, kids, you're going to have room in the school. Some kids, you're going to have to have space for them. But I do look for it to pass. I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. It definitely will be a game-changing thing and would go into effect next season, next fall for the 25-26 school year.
Lou, can you go into just a tiny bit more detail about what you said about being ineligible for the playoffs? Now, would that be the entire team? Would that be that individual player?
Kid that transferred, just a kid. So, I waited to my senior year and transferred, and then I'm using my one-time my senior year. Yeah, I could play the whole season, could go through all the practices. I just wouldn't be able to play in the playoffs with the team.
That's awesome. Lou, you're the best, man. Appreciate you hopping on with us. We will talk to you soon. We'll always appreciate your time, man.
All right, Cole. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, I love that, Diesel. I love that.
Yeah, that's really interesting because it sounds like, let's just say star player transfers senior year. He can play and get his team to the playoff, but then can't play in the playoffs.
There's no way that would happen, right?
Consider, when you think about the way the NCAA handles some things, and they'll make a team essentially forfeit all games that had a player playing in it. But that's not going to be the case in South Carolina.
One-time transfer. So wow. I like it. Before your junior, before your
I do want to
year.
know how strict this hardship rule is going to be, because how easy is it going to be to get around this hardship rule?
Yeah, probably have to physically, like he said, show change of address and physically move, and then maybe even knock on the door and check that you do live there and you're not shacked up with other players in an apartment. You know what I mean? It happens.
Fascinating.
It is.
It's going to be wild to see how that plays out. When we get back, Cole, Dennis Dodd from CBSSports.com is reporting that we are edging very close to having a structure in place at the tippy top of college football. What's the absolute latest from Dennis Dodd? That is coming next. Cole, Dennis Dodd is one of the best when it comes to reporting on college football. He is massive on social media. He is one of the most respected voices, has 115,000 followers on Twitter, and he has officially posted the job listing for what exactly college football needs when it comes to whoever is going to run this thing and whatever way it's going to look in a couple of years. And I just wonder, Cole, is this too much to ask? So here it is, job listing.
On Indeed?
Yeah.
Is that where it is?
Monster.com. Job listing, Chief Executive Officer, College Sports. This candidate will be responsible for oversight of a multi-billion-dollar industry undergoing significant change. The applicant must have extensive athletic, business, legal, and gender equity experience. A background in player representation and wealth fund management is preferred.
Well, we're out.
It is important for this candidate to cut all financial ties with their alma mater. This includes the wearing of neutral colors at all times. On-camera experience is a must. Please send job samples to, well, we'll get back to you on that because we don't know where to have you send it.
That's a great little paragraph, though.
Yeah.
And it eliminated you and I from the first two words, right? It eliminates everybody.
I mean, I could try to manage a multi-billion-dollar thing.
I mean, who has that type of resume?
I'm beginning to think, Cole, with the amount of work they're going to put on one person here, maybe it was a good idea to leave the NCAA in place. Like, I understand the NCAA had its issues, and they were behind the times, and they were dragging their feet on everything, kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
And they've all been completely neutered when it comes to enforcing any rules or structure that they had. But the problem is, Cole, whoever gets this job in whatever structure the management of college athletics and college football specifically is going to look like, they're all going to have to implement a very strict set of rules. So how is that going to be tremendously different from what the NCAA did or does or didn't do, depending on how you look and feel about the NCAA?
So does this make you, when you hear this, does it make you think that maybe we're putting the cart before the horse and we don't need a commissioner?
Commissioner, I would say no. I don't think college football needs a commissioner.
Okay.
I think college football needs a tribunal.
Okay.
It needs 3 commissioners to run this thing.
Well, it is a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Yeah.
And basically what I've done is I've taken Dennis Dodd's job description for who they need, and I've broken it into 3 parts.
Okay.
You need somebody who can run the business side of things, somebody who has run massively profitable businesses. You got to have a money guy on this thing.
You do. Money's important.
That's the guy that's going to deal with the networks, and they're going to figure out how to maximize revenue, and they're going to say, yes, it's feasible to give players this percentage, but not that percentage, whatever it may be.
You know what's weird about that real quick, though? Like, you think a money guy, maybe it's just me. It's hard to make a connection or make a bridge between college football and money guy. That I don't know that they
have you been living under a rock for a while? Because there's a tremendous amount of money being thrown around.
No. I'm saying who would be qualified enough to have had a ton of experience in college football, but also a ton of experience in multi-billion-dollar.
You're getting ahead of me here.
Okay.
You're getting ahead of me. So you got to have a money guy first who can handle the money side of things. And whether that's I don't know, one of Luigi Mangione's targets. We go down his list. We can find somebody who's probably pretty good at managing a tremendous amount of money in an industry. So you got to have that. You got to have a football guy, somebody who knows and loves the game, who wants to protect it, who has devoted their life to football, who doesn't want to see football turn into this gigantic cash grab. So there you go. You got 2 voices.
That's not what I was saying, though. I'm saying when you have a money guy, do you want the money guy to have football background or no?
You don't have to.
Okay.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm with you.
You know, if you is there like an assistant to Roger Goodell in the NFL?
Okay.
Somebody like that might be a candidate to that. Or like the CFO of the NFL, the financial officer of the NFL. Somebody like that.
Yep.
But again, all this person needs to know how to do is to manage a multi-billion-dollar company.
That's all you have to do.
All you have to do. But again, you got to have a football guy who can essentially oppose him and say, yeah, I know there's all this money floating around, and you want to do all these things that are going to raise a tremendous amount of money, but I want to protect the sport. I don't want this thing to become unrecognizable. I don't want this thing to be Caddyshack 2 by the end of it.
It's a good movie, though.
A movie reference you don't know.
Caddyshack?
Caddyshack was great. Caddyshack 2 was not great. Caddyshack 1, they were playing at Bushwood Country Club, a beautiful country club.
That's the only one I've seen.
Caddyshack 2, they've turned, I think it's still at Bushwood, but I'm not sure, but they've turned it into essentially mini golf. Like over-the-top, ridiculous, volcanoes shooting fire, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen the second one.
It's not good. It's not particularly great. And then you got to have a tiebreaker, somebody who can essentially let both of these two try to convince them why they're right. And let that guy, whether he wants to be the spokesperson, an attorney, a player rep, somebody like that, has to be involved, Cole. That way, you can't have any ties, and you got to have somebody who wants to grow the game, and somebody who wants to protect the game.
Yeah.
And you got to have somebody in the middle.
That's tough.
I think that's the way to do it.
It's a tough ask, right? I mean, that's a lot. You'd have to have 3 good ones, 3 good candidates.
Yeah.
Be a lot of fun.
Dennis Dodd, though, unfortunately, is predicting a CEO and then a board of trustees under him that are going to ultimately oversee this thing.
That probably, he probably will be right on that. Diesel, it is Friday. We are almost 3 hours away from first pitch. Rivalry weekend. I said it that time. I didn't go Bugs Bunny there.
You got to slow it down. Rivalry weekend.
Yesterday I put a rivalry weekend.
It's okay.
It's okay. But Clemson, South Carolina facing off tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. We'll dive into that series next. It is time to get right into the weekend series. Clemson and South Carolina going at it this weekend, 3-game series, and it should be a lot of fun. Welcome into Wire to Wire. He's Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson. I want to go back real quick. I blundered something in the first segment, Diesel. We were talking about Derek Carr, and in my fantasy world, I said that Derek Carr was still in Vegas. Derek Carr's not in Vegas. He's in New Orleans. It's a big difference, right?
You had me confused.
Yeah, I was like, we were talking about during the break, and I said, man, I really blundered that up, right? I effed that up pretty good. I don't know why I was thinking that, but my apologies.
Well, he spent
there.
a lot of time in Vegas.
Spent some time there, but not there now.
And it was up in the air whether or not he was going to return.
Yeah.
They gave him a vote of confidence recently. So, yeah, I understand how the mistake could be made.
Well, I appreciate you, understanding it, because even Diesel and I do make mistakes. It happens. The combine going on right now, we'll keep you updated on that. They're interviewing Travis Hunter right now on NFL Network, so we'll get back to that conversation. Want to let you Tolos know, though, coming up 20 minutes from right now, Diesel and I are going to have our own NFL Combine 40-yard dash edition right outside in the parking lot. We've measured it off. Rob Jones of 98.9 WORD is going to be our watchman, where he's going to be keeping count. And Tolos, we're going to pull this off via the stream. So you'll be able to hear it on the radio. But if you really want to see it, I encourage you, jump in on the stream. Go ahead and do so. You can watch the show live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. If you've never done that, hop in, because, Diesel and I will be commentating downstairs for the radio audience.
You may see somebody blow out their knee.
But while the other person is getting ready and running, the other person will be holding the phone, describing their best play-by-play action of the 40-yard dash with commentary from Rob Jones.
Yeah, you actually do play-by-play.
But not a 40-yard dashes. We'll see. Well,
it'll be, off he goes.
Off he goes.
And done.
He just got to the dead turtle. For those that don't know, there is a turtle buried over on the side, and that's where we marked it off to the second light pole. So a lot of fun coming up. This could be good. It could be bad. We don't know. But that's what makes sports radio fun. And because we have the technology of the stream, we can pull this off. Diesel, if we had no stream, we wouldn't be able to do this. It wouldn't happen. But because of the stream, we're going to be able to do this. So 20 minutes from now, Diesel and I, 40-yard dash. That should be fun. Also fun this weekend, Diesel, Clemson, South Carolina in action. Starting pitchers for this weekend rivalry series has been announced, and it's a little bit concerning for the Gamecocks. Today, left-handed pitcher Matthew Becker will go for South Carolina versus right-handed pitcher Aiden Canuck. Diesel, Dylan Eskew, South Carolina's Friday guy, went down the last week with some back soreness, and their Friday guy is not pitching on Friday. I think that's a big concern for South Carolina. And Tolos, also want to hear from you and your thoughts on this series this weekend in college baseball. But, when you're going up against a team, Diesel, that's as good as Clemson and has as much firepower as Clemson does, for Dylan Eskew not to be throwing in the starting rotation, you'd have to think that's a little concerning for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, this series, if they could steal game one at Clemson today, they would feel really good over the next couple of days. I mean, at that point, you got to win one of two. Home field advantage is going to be huge for the Clemson Tigers today. Obviously, they got a lot of firepower. They put up, 20-some-odd runs last week against, was it Winthrop? Mm-hmm. So Clemson can score, and that's going to be a big problem for South Carolina. I know that they put up 14 or 15 in their midweek matchup this past week as well, so the Gamecocks can score. But I don't think the Gamecocks have seen an arm like what Clemson is going to be throwing these first 2 days. Now, the Sunday arm is going to be a concern for Clemson. We'll see how that plays out.
Well, I'll tell you this. I said this on Monday. You and I started talking about this series on Monday. We've talked to several people during the week. We've talked Clemson with Grayson Mann. We've talked to Jack Veltri of Gamecock Central. We talked to Derek Scott, the play-by-play voice of the Gamecocks. So we've gotten you ready for the series. And Diesel, I'm going to stick with my Monday pick. I still think Clemson sweeps this weekend. I believe that what you said is true to the point of their pitching. I think Clemson will have a massive advantage on the mound. Aiden Canuck going for the Tigers tonight, right-handed pitcher. Tomorrow, Ethan Darden getting the start in Greenville over at Floor Field. And then Sunday, Justin Lujernik will get the start. And I agree with you. Clemson Sunday arm Diesel is still in the air a little bit. And if South Carolina were to get a game, I think they would get the Sunday game. However, Jack Veltri of Gamecock Central reported yesterday, Diesel, that Dylan Eskew, South Carolina's Friday guy, is not going Friday or Saturday, but if he can wake up on Sunday without soreness, he might go Sunday. So the Friday guy for South Carolina might move in the rotation to Sunday for this weekend series. And if you're South Carolina, you desperately would love to have Dylan Eskew in that rotation because of how good of a pitcher he is. Now, I will say this. I told Jack Veltri this earlier in the week when talking about this series. We were doing a little piece on Gamecock Central, and I said Clemson is getting up for this series, right? They get the first game at home. They're going to be amped up tonight. It's going to be a big-time environment tonight in Clemson. However, if I were a South Carolina fan, I would be calmed with the fact that, you know what, this is a big series, Diesel, but you know what it's not? It's not a big series for Paul Mainieri. Paul Mainieri's been to the mountaintop, right? He has a ton of experience, and that's not diminishing this weekend series, but this weekend series is nothing for Paul Mainieri. This guy's coached in 1 million baseball games.
It's a learning experience. He's getting to know his team.
Yeah.
And really, this series is prep for the SEC schedule. The 3-game series that Clemson played to start the season preps them for this weekend, but this weekend preps South Carolina for the rest of the season.
And they're going to see how good they are, right? South Carolina's going to – it's a gauge for both teams, but to your point about the SEC for South Carolina, they're going to know how good they are. They haven't played the competition yet, so there's still some questions. JB on the YouTube stream says, Tolo, Tigers taking 2 of 3. Gamecocks win Sunday in Columbia. And again, JB, that's what I said. If the Gamecocks, if you told me the Gamecocks were to win one of the games, I would say it'd be the Sunday game. But Diesel, you said 2 of 3 for Clemson, right? Mm-hmm. You said 2 of 3. I'm going Clemson sweep. I think they take care of business because of the offensive firepower.
I just want to know, where's the trash talking among the Tolos?
Yeah.
I mean, JB saying Tigers take 2 of 3. I mean, that's all.
I think it's premature.
That's a legitimate prediction. That's not trash talk, and I don't think that's your intention there, JB.
And he's a Gamecock, right?
He's a Gamecock fan. He's got Steve Spurrier as his little avatar.
Well, you know, for
where's the trash talk?
I think there's still. I think South Carolina fans, Diesel, in terms of trash talking, are still in this like wait and see mode, right? With Paul Mainieri.
But that's never stopped him before.
But like, hey, let them win one game. Let them win one game. They'll start. Let them get up Saturday. You and I are going to be at Floor Field.
That's true.
For the game, the rubber match at what, 2? Is it 2? 2:30?
1:30,
something like that. Some afternoon game. Let South Carolina. Hey, I'll tell you this. Let South Carolina steal one tonight, and then come to Greenville. Have you been to a Clemson South Carolina game at Florida yet?
I have never been to one.
Packed.
Yeah.
I mean, Greenville Drive.
Can't move.
Greenville Drive.
Yeah.
Sorry, we love your games, but it does not compare to the crowd that you'll see Saturday. It's a fun environment. Somebody earlier today said, that game would be a lot more interesting if they played the Floor Field game on Friday night. And maybe it would. Maybe it would. But that Saturday game, I think, gives people time from Columbia, to get up here for the game, Charleston, any Gamecock fans. But, Diesel, I'm picking Clemson because of the offensive firepower. I think that Eric Bakich and Arlington made a move in the lineup from game 1 to 2 that really opened his eyes, and I think that's the lineup they're going to go with. I think that when you look at Cam Canarella, who we've talked about several times, and the rest of the guys that surround Clemson in this lineup, it's deadly. It's deadly, and I think that South Carolina ultimately will struggle with keeping the lineup down. I have not seen the lineup come out yet for Clemson or South Carolina. I am looking, and I have not seen the lineup for either team come out yet. I do know South Carolina got to Clemson last night and took BP at Doug Kingsmore. But you know what else I think? Diesel, having that game, the home game on Friday, I think having that home game on Friday is a massive advantage you get a Friday night environment compared to a Sunday afternoon out of church crowd, right? I know that's not realistic.
Well, it is a Friday. People have got to get off work. And, I mean, not everybody who's a Clemson fan lives within 15 miles of Clemson, South Carolina. It's going to take some time. A 7 o'clock first pitch tonight. And that means people getting off work at 5 o'clock who live here in Greenville, especially as much as we've talked about how much I-85 sucks.
Yeah.
And you know that was at 153 through Easley isn't a whole heck of a lot better, especially not at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I just wonder if it's going to be a little bit of a late crowd.
Could be.
Making their way. How many Clemson baseball fans took the afternoon off or took the day off so that they could be there building up that atmosphere? Cole, I think it's actually going to be a little bit muted, the atmosphere. At least early, right? Yeah. Give it a couple innings, let it fill all the way up. On Sunday, can you imagine, Cole, if South Carolina takes either one of the two games tonight or tomorrow, that Sunday atmosphere in Columbia is going to be huge.
Oh, if they're going for the series win, it is. And JD pointed that on the YouTube stream. He says, oh, no, Gamecock Nation is rolling deep on Sunday. They added more tickets because they ran out of standing room. JD, I'm with you. I think so. I'll tell you this, JD. I went to the South Carolina game on Saturday. It was a decent environment. They were playing Milwaukee, right? Nothing to really, call home to mom about. But I think the environment Sunday will be a lot better for South Carolina. I'll be at that one, JD, as well. I'm looking forward to it. Founders Park, Diesel.
What time is that first pitch on Sunday? 5 o'clock. Oh, you're going to have all day in Columbia to get sauced up and ready to go.
Yeah, they might be. I think to your point, if South Carolina can get one. Now, if Clemson rolls in there like I think they will, already up 2-0, maybe not the environment, maybe not the crowd that you were hoping for. I mean, not the crowd, but maybe not the environment that you were hoping for. Look, I love what South Carolina has in the lineup. I think South Carolina's lineup has potential. I just don't know that they're there yet. Once it warms up, once they start playing some teams of quality competition, I think they're going to be okay. Ethan Petrie's awesome. Kennedy Jones, in my mind, can be the guy I guess Kennedy Jones, in my mind, can be the Robin to Ethan Petrie because Ethan Petrie's hitting the ball like 400 batting average right now. He's crushing it. Kennedy Jones, though, man, you look at him, you watch him play, you watch Kennedy Jones and you think, man, this guy has a lot of potential. We all know Ethan Petrie's really good, but from what I've seen from Kennedy Jones, if he can get hot, I think that team right there might be better than people are going to give him credit for because he's a stud in the lineup, but I just don't know that they have studs across the lineup like Clemson does. I mean, Clemson has dudes in every spot in the lineup. JD says, pitching, huge issue for the Gamecocks. Hopefully Eskew with his extra rest will be good to go. And I think, JD, they're just banking on Sunday, him not waking up sore. I think that's what it really comes down to. Hopefully he does not wake up sore on Sunday. Diesel, before we take a break and get to this Ingles live read and get to our 40-yard dash, do you want to do a little test? Do you want to make sure our technology while we're on air works okay? If you want to run down and show our Tolos our scene, set the scene, if you will. I sent you the link to the stream. Diesel's going to run down, and before we run to a break, on air, we're going to do a test just to make sure everything's working okay. He's going to join us via the stream, and he will show you Tolos who are on the stream where we will be doing the 40-yard dash in the very next segment. If you just tuned into the show, we appreciate you tuning in, by the way. But with it being NFL Combine Week, Diesel and I thought, heck, why don't we try to have a little bit of a combine ourselves and see who can run the fastest 40-yard dash? I think it's going to be fascinating. I don't know how it's going to work, but we're going to try our darndest at it. As Diesel is now on the live stream. Diesel, you got us, big guy? He is now walking out, obviously walking. Okay.
You got me, Cole?
I got you. Make sure you kill your Wi-Fi on your phone. If he already did that. He is now walking out and setting the scene. Can you hear me okay?
I got you loud and clear. So this is the scene. This is where we're going to be running. Apologize for the windiness, but it is what it is. Here is – I was wrong. Turtle's name is Greenie. We're going to be going from roughly here at this headstone for Greenie the turtle down to the second light post. So that one right there. Starting right here at this line, directly in front of the Greenie headstone, down to the second light post. So that is what we're going to be doing here. That's we've measured it out multiple times. We've been very clear, very accurate. Only the most scientific methods being used to track this. We're not going to be running with the camera in hand because
right.
I don't fancy breaking $1,000 cell phone for a 40-yard dash. But there,
sure.
Back to right over there. So we're going to be getting this going here in just a couple of minutes as we await Rob Jones coming down here, who is our official scorekeeper.
What's the temperature? I mean, are we dealing with any wind? I know it's a bright, sunny day, but will the wind be in the favor of the runners in the 40-yard dash?
It actually will be. Wind is flowing from the headstone towards the finish line. Sun will not be in our face. That will not be a factor either.
Good.
So that's great news. It is a very flat track. No hills, no nothing. There are a couple of little pieces of goose poop along the way that we are going to have to dodge. But good news is we're both going to be dealing with those same conditions. Yeah, so the wind is flowing at the back of the runner, so that's going to be good for both of us. Temperature-wise, it is currently 66 degrees, nice and cool. Nobody's going to be sweating out here, and we're going to have ourselves a good time here in just a few minutes.
That is fantastic. Job well done, and we appreciate you giving us the scoop on what the scene will look like. So, Tolos, you just heard it from the man himself. Diesel said it right there on the stream that we will be doing the 40-yard dash in the very next segment. The NFL Combine is happening. Well, guess what? We are going to combine ourselves with a good old-fashioned 40-yard dash. Tolos, get involved as we run to a break on the text line. Let us know who is going to win the 40-yard dash, 844-326-3663. That is next, right here on the Fan Upstate. am already dying on the inside. I just tuned the stream back on, and I see Diesel warming up downstairs. How's the warm-up process going?
It's going good, man. We had to scare a couple geese off. There were 2 very angry geese that showed up right as we went off to commercial break. So it would appear that they've been pushed over towards the road. I think we're going to be good to go.
Are they competing in the 40 as well?
I mean, if they want to, the track is going to be open after we're done with it.
All right, Diesel, as we get this started, you anchor the coverage for the next 2 minutes, and you and Rob Jones anchor the coverage while I make my way down. And just so the Tolos know, I have not stretched. I have not warmed up, and this could get ugly.
That maybe is a bad decision.
It is. It is going to be a bad decision, but you only live once, and Diesel and I, coming up very shortly, are going to have a 40-yard dash. Diesel, take it away.
Yeah, so traffic is definitely busy out here. A lot of it's 4:30, 4:25 traffic on Garlington Road in Greenville. They're going to be wondering what the heck these guys are up to when they're driving by. So they could see somebody fall flat on their face. They could witness a hospital visit here in the next 10 minutes. But hey, that's what we're here for. We're here to bring the Tolos what they want over on the stream.
Geese attack.
JD says, once y'all start running, they will chase you. Let's see. They're not back. They have still been pushed over towards the road. Rob Jones, our esteemed judge, I've tried to buy him, honestly. I slipped him a 20 to see if he could shave like half a second off my time. He said, no, sir, I will not accept.
You can't afford me.
He says I can't afford him. I'm trying to save a little money here, and maybe if I bought you a bottle of whiskey, would you help me out there?
Very rare.
A rare bottle of whiskey. Okay.
So Cole gets a chance to also meet your offer or exceed it.
Oh, so you're gonna tell him? You said I'm not supposed to tell him. Let's see here. Cole with a good strategy to get Diesel out of breath already. JD, clearly you don't know anything about warming up for an athletic competition. You do have to warm up a little bit. The lungs, my lungs are nice and ready to go. Sorry again, guys, if you're getting a lot of wind noise, it just is what it is. You gotta deal with the conditions that you've got. Cole has made his way outside. He's skipping. He's ready to go.
What is this guy doing?
Are those Yeezys? What kind of shoes are you wearing?
No, these are Hey Dudes.
So you gotta swing on over here into the. Oh, God, get your foot out of my face.
I was showing the Tolos. Hey Dudes, baby. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing Adidas. I'm wearing Adidas today. Matter of fact, now let me remember to double knot my shoes so I don't lose them and end up face first into the pavement.
Tolos, it is about to go down. Diesel and I, 40-yard dash. You going first? You're warmed up.
I'll go first, yeah, and I'll say Cole, we each will make 2 runs on this.
2 runs.
2 runs. Are you good? You think you can do 2 runs?
Yeah, we'll do 2. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do 2. So we each get 1, and then you will take a little time to catch your breath,
Recover.
get yourself ready to go, recover, and then we will do a second. Would you like to go standing start or like a 3-point sprinting start?
I'm gonna go like this, like standing but hunched down a little bit. Is that okay?
Yeah. I don't want to go. I don't want to go with fingers down because I feel like I'm gonna eat it too.
All right, you go first. I'm gonna switch the camera around.
Okay, good. Who's here? Who's this?
So we have
Jersey Joe.
no way.
Wow.
Jersey Joe.
Geese.
Jersey Joe, what's up? Get on the stream, Jersey Joe. What's
Hi,
up,
guys.
man? Jersey Joe live in person. Rob Jones,
Who's gonna win, Jersey Joe?
98.9 WORD. Why are you moving from the camera, Rob?
I'm not moving. You're moving the camera. I haven't moved.
That's right. You're right.
I was trying to determine who was going to go first, but Diesel's going first.
Jesus going first.
Okay.
We're live on radio, stream. We're 40-yard dash. And what are your thoughts? Who do you think's going to win?
Man, well, you've got the age advantage on Diesel. I don't know which one of you guys is in better shape. I know Diesel's already a little heavy breath already. So
Heavy brethren is what he said.
No, heavy breath.
Oh, heavy brethren.
Breathing heavy.
I was just trying to. Yeah. Okay. I was lying.
So you're asking me who I think is going to win? I would think it's going to be a win if neither one of you get hurt. So I'll go with that.
I like that. I do like that. A win as long as nobody gets hurt.
Standing start.
Standing start, and I'm checking to make sure. Jersey Joe, I'm going to give you this phone just to make sure everything is okay, to make sure we don't go off or lose connection. Is that okay? Jersey Joe's here, by the way.
Are we starting on our own clock or doing a 3, 2, 1, go?
What do you think, Rob?
It doesn't really
You need to be the one. Do you have a gun? Do you have a pistol?
I'm not going to answer that. I don't have one on my person right now at this moment.
All right, so you are going to give Diesel the 3, 2, 1.
3, 2,
go.
1.
Are we going on one or going on go?
Go.
2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go. We're going on go.
We're going on go.
And then as soon as you cross.
Jersey Joe, we good? Everything looking good? You can still hear us okay? Tolos, welcome into Wire to Wire. There's no other afternoon show like this. I mean, I'm just telling you. Let me tell you. How do I flip this camera? Oh, there we go. Tolos, we're live in Greenville. Diesel's warming up. And should I stand at the finish line to get Diesel, or should I go closer?
I don't know. This is the first time I've ever been part of an impromptu 40-yard dash contest. I couldn't tell you what we should do exactly in production. However, I have the time here, and I will get it.
Now, you're not going to make any mistakes or errors, right?
No.
Can I pay you to get mine a little early, or is that okay? Can I pay off the ref?
If you and Diesel want to get in a bidding war, then whoever the highest bidder is.
Tolos, 40-yard dash. Where did Diesel go? He disappeared. 40-yard dash is about to happen on the stream. If you're listening on radio, that's fantastic. I know it's probably better to watch on the stream, so we encourage you. Go over to the stream. Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube is where you can watch the show. Hold on. Jersey Joe's here. Rob Jones is our official watchman. Is that what you're called?
Yes.
Okay. And Diesel is about to run his first 40-yard dash. And when he's done, can you shout the time?
Yes.
All right. Here we go.
3, 2, 1, go.
What are the results?
5.48 seconds. 5.48.
5, baby.
That is good. That is really, really good.
5.48 for Diesel.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
You didn't hit it late or anything? Wow. 5. That is great. I mean, I think I don't want to go now. I don't want to go.
Felt a little cramp in my right leg.
How are you recovered? Are you okay health-wise?
Good.
No bad ankles?
So far, so good.
You're going to a concert later. You need to make sure
I get to sit for the show. Fine.
Are you sure you got that right? I mean, that's fast.
The best humanly possible that you can do, doing it as a human being, yes, without a laser. That's the best.
Jersey Joe is making sure the stream is still good. He's our technical director. All right, I'm going to hand the phone to you.
Okay.
It's my turn.
It's Cole's turn. Let me see. Let me see if I can turn this
Just make sure you talk the whole
camera around. Yep. 5, 4, what?
5.48.
5.48. JD says Cole's going to put up a 5.3. Says he's going to get a 5.3. So it's going to be fascinating to see how fast Cole can run. Again, this is just the first run. We will give everybody a second run. Oh, he's taking the hat off. He's taking the hat off. Oh, look at him. We can't zoom in anymore on this, but is he gonna run it shirtless? Maybe. Oh, he is gonna run it shirtless. Turn the cap on, put him on. Yeah, he's running the cap backwards. I like it.
Ready.
He's not ready. Cole's not ready. He's figuring out his stance. He wants to figure out if he's gonna go right foot forward or left foot forward. And
Go, you ready?
Cole, are you ready?
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Here he comes. Oh, he's quick, man. He's got power. He's got power off the line. And he's through.
5.12.
5.12. Wow, I got to pick up half a second.
Dude, you're a lot faster than I thought.
Woo, God. A 5.12? See, that's the difference in 12 years. Cole Bryson, I'm proud of you, dude. I'm proud of you.
That's a faster 40 than Tom Brady ran.
That's true. Tom Brady ran a 5.1 something at his combine.
7, I think.
Let's see. Brian Pettit says, great job, Diesel. JD says Cole is going to put a 5.3 up. Well, he already ran it faster than a 5.3. He ran a 5. So here's the thing. Cole doesn't have to run again unless I beat him.
Okay.
Unless he wants to. He can try to improve his score. But that was exciting.
Thinking about running if you guys were like slow.
Look at him. He's
5.12.
He's got a stitch in his side. He's I don't know if he's gonna be okay.
A little bit of soreness.
Yeah. Are you gonna run it again or no?
What was it again?
5.12.
So
5.12.
that means 1.2 seconds away from 5 flat.
0.12 seconds away.
Yeah. 0.12.
Yeah. That's solid.
5.12?
Yes. 5.12.
Yeah, I think I can get. Oh, man, that was good.
You've got me beat. I got to pick up half a
So
second.
should I?
I got to pick up half a second just to beat you.
0.36 off of you.
Yeah. I gotta run 0.3 seconds faster to beat you.
Ooh, I'm out of breath.
I understand.
I'm out of breath.
I understand. Here we go.
We got Jersey Joe in the house. Colos. Rob Jones, 98.9. And Diesel, you going to round 2?
Go for round 2.
So here's my game plan, Tolos. Let me catch my breath. My plan, Rob, is if he beats it, I'll go again. If he doesn't, I'm not going to go again. Is that a good plan?
Yeah. You should stay with what you got unless he beats it. And I'm going to be real. I don't think he's going to beat it because, honestly, 5.12 is pretty doggone fast, man.
Faster than Tom Brady or not?
It is.
Just don't cheat.
I'm not going to cheat. How am I cheating?
I don't want any cheating going on. Tolos.
Ready.
Can Diesel? Oh, hold on. All right, ready. Rob Jones.
Ready. 3, 2, 1, go. .62. 5.62 official time.
That's fast.
That's surprising. I thought I was.
That's fast.
I thought I was a little quicker. Not by much. I didn't think I was going to be sub 5 seconds. That's crazy.
That's quicker.
It's quicker, but he
Look, surprised that your second was quicker, being already out of breath.
I think that you got out of the gate faster in the first one. Your first 10 yards, and this one seemed a little slower. Your back end was faster. But I think your first 10 yards and the fact that, we're middle-aged pretty much except for Cole. And the first time we do something, we're as good as we used to be.
What Toby say?
I'm as good as I used to be once or something like that.
Yeah, well, close to it. And he's dead now, so you should get it right. But it's okay. So I'm not going to do 2.
No,
I'm not shocked. Cole, 28 years old,
28.
has got me by 0.35 seconds ish.
Yeah.
And so I'm
That's not bad.
40 years old, still running the sub 45.
That's pretty good. The fact that we were both under 6, and Tolo Phil from Gaffney said we will not be under 6. So we proved them wrong.
Attaboy.
Rob Jones, you're the best. Your analysis was fantastic as well. And Jersey Joe. Jersey Joe is the 5. Tell me, am I right here?
5-time Greenville Drive hot dog eating champion.
5-time.
I didn't realize we were in the presence of a real.
We're in the presence of the man.
Picked it up if I'd known that.
He looks like, he could put him down. All right, I'm going to hand your phone, let y'all host, and hold it down while I run back up so we don't lose any connection. And I'm going to run back up while you and Rob and Jersey.
Tolos, are we surprised?
Yeah, I got it.
April Mosley says if y'all shaved your beards off, you would gain half a second. Do you believe that that's
I
true?
don't know about half a second, mate.
That's a lot.
They say in swimming, if you're full shaven, you do pick up some time. So maybe you would.
Yeah, well, I don't. No, this is too much of my own personality. I can't get rid of that.
That's true.
I can't get rid of it. Sure, yeah, it's gonna a little drag, a little extra drag, but
Plus, I'm not sure your wife would approve either, right?
no, she wouldn't. She's never seen me without a beard.
Right.
Not once.
You'd be like a brand new person. She might ask for a divorce.
See, Kane says Cole is undisputed. Brian Pettit says Cole, go off that foot that you most use to walk. Brian, I thought it was 50-50. People use the foot to walk. Left foot, right foot, 50-50 split. But hey, Tolos, it's been a blast. Next year, I'm going to come back better, faster, stronger. I am going to do my own pro day. I can promise you that. So there will be an opportunity for me to run it just a little bit faster, but I'm glad I took part in this experience.
Diesel, you're the best. We will take a break. On the other side, we'll recap what just happened, Tolos. I'm out of breath. I'm not going to lie, but that was fun.
Go, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that was historic. I don't know if there's any other word to describe what just happened. Diesel's checking his pulse, or his heart rate, rather. See if you got your breath back. I'm working on mine.
Where am I sitting right now? BPM wise, I'm gonna see if I can find it on my watch.
How bad is it that I do one run and I'm over here like having to regain my breath during commercial break? That should just tell you that, man, I've got to get on that treadmill a lot more.
Yeah,
I really do.
Sprints, it's a different discipline. You know, it's completely different from jogging a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, whatever you might do. I am down to I'm still up at 100 beats a minute.
That's pretty good.
At the moment.
Burning fat, right?
Yeah.
Those three pieces of pizza, they're gone.
I had 3 slices of pizza for lunch, and that was maybe a bad choice.
No,
but
you worked them
I
all.
had those before I knew that we were running.
That's true. That's fair. So if you just tuned in, Tolos, Diesel and I just went head-to-head in a 40-yard dash. What in the world inspired that? I don't know. The NFL Combine, obviously. Do you remember our results? Because I've already.
I was first run. I ran a 5. What did Rob say? I ran a 5.4 something.
Okay.
Second, I ran a 5.6 according to his timing.
Okay.
You ran a 5.1 something.
5.1.
Cole's quick.
Well,
it was like
I
a
didn't know.
5.16 or something like that.
I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't know. It's been a while since I've done that. Maybe 2 years since I've ran a 40-yard dash.
Yeah, I haven't sprinted in a long time.
It's been a while. But
it shows you how out of shape you are.
It shows you how out of shape. That was a lot of fun, Tolos. If you were on the stream, you really got the full experience. That was awesome.
I think the real takeaway here, Cole, is age matters. Age matters.
Yeah.
You're 12 years younger than me.
It's a big difference.
And none of the Tolos believed in us. None of them.
Yeah, Tolo Phil was like, oh, y'all won't be sub 6.
If we go back to find out what the...
Look at April Mosley, by the way, before you move. If you shaved your beards, you would gain at least half a second.
JB giving us the most credit. I think JB might be the only one that put us in the 5s.
JB?
JB says Diesel will run a 5.8 and Cole a 5.9. So he gave us credit at least for being in the 5s.
He did.
Let's see here. Scotty from BMW said that I would run a 6.7. He was a full second slower than what we actually ran. He said you would run a 7 flat.
How about that?
Let's see
a
here.
7? Come on, Scotty. What do you think I am? Just a freaking whale?
JD said Cole would run a 5.8 and that I would run a 6 flat.
That was awesome.
So we're better. We're both better than what any of you gave us credit for.
We are. Let's get to a little daily wires. Bzz. It's the top stories happening in the sports world. Obviously, we don't have time to get to every one of these in a full segment, but we have time right now. Diesel, last night, South Carolina women's basketball defeated Ole Miss 75-59. The Lady Gamecocks 26-3 on the season. You know, they've had a few losses. You know, the UConn loss wasn't pretty.
People already writing them off. They're still a very, very good team. I'd said it earlier in the week. They're just not elite like they normally have been, but that's okay. Well, they're not invincible the way that they have been in the past. Now, we don't know. There's a good chance South Carolina and UConn meet up again in the NCAA tournament, and then we're going to really see what kind of adjustments John Staley can make in a second go-around against the Huskies.
Shedeur Sanders didn't tone down his overt displays of confidence at Jackson State or Colorado. Talked about in a interview during the NFL Draft Combine that he was not intimidated or scared regardless of who was going to take him in the NFL Draft. Diesel, if Isaiah Bond is correct, Xavier Worthy's record 40-yard dash time, speaking of 40-yard dash, at the NFL Scouting Combine will last just one season, but remain with Texas. Last year, Worthy, a former Longhorn, ran a 4.21 40 and was eventually a first-round pick to the Chiefs. Isaiah Bond, who played at Texas last season, will run Saturday after starting in Alabama. So that'll be very interesting to see if Xavier Worthy's time will be shattered. Miami quarterback Cam Ward says he is not throwing at the NFL Scouting Combine in Indy, but will go through the interview process. He said, I think my 5 years of film shows everything I can do, Ward said Friday. Me throwing here at the Combine is not going to move the needle in any way.
You know, who's the longest tenured college football quarterback in the last couple of years? Could you imagine them? Well, I think I've shown enough in my 9 years in college. I don't think I need to go out and prove anything to anybody.
Yeah, it's true. Dylan Gabriel, right?
You got to think, Cole, also these guys, they're used to throwing in pads, and they're going to be throwing in pads in the NFL, believe it or not. And throwing predetermined routes without pads on isn't maybe necessarily the most accurate way to judge a quarterback.
It's interesting, though, because I do believe that Cam Ward has shown enough. Here's what none of us know, Diesel. The 32 owners in the NFL, the 32 general managers, we don't know what is going through their mind. Of the 32, 15 of them may think, you know what, Cam Ward's already shown enough. However, 17, Diesel may think, I'd like to see Cam Ward. You know, you and I have talked about whether you should or should not participate in the Combine, but the reality is nobody knows what's going through the mind of those NFL owners who are the ones that are actually going to have to make the picks when it's all said and done. In Indianapolis, while he had multi-million-dollar offers to remain in college football, Quinn Ewers never considered them. He said, he said, I wanted to leave my legacy at Texas, and I didn't want to disrupt anything that I did at Texas to be flipped or turned in any other way. I just wanted to be remembered in college at Texas. I like that. I admire that, right? Not wanting to flip-flop and go somewhere else. Quinn Ewers sticking it through, saying just this week in a Combine interview that he did have other offers, but Diesel, ultimately, he wanted to leave a Longhorn.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, right? The state of college football today. A guy that took his team to the playoff, got them as far as he got them, is essentially pushed out. And now we don't know if he might have come back for another year saying, I left something on the field. I think we can go win a title next year. That's what I'm coming back for. He couldn't do that because he knew full well that Texas was going to play Arch Manning next year, and there was nothing he could do about it. And it's just kind of a sad state of football.
It's interesting because, we all know that Quinn Ewers was one of the best. Maybe we do a segment next week looking at how many Heisman Trophy winners and candidates were first-round picks. Not many. The great college quarterbacks, Diesel, by the time the draft rolls around in April, those quarterbacks, they seem to kind of disappear. So we'll see.
Cole, I'm looking at the Combine results right here. Neither one of us would be inside the top 10 as far as 40 times. However, you were on par with Zeke Biggers from Georgia Tech. He ran a 5.14 40.
Wow.
He is a defensive lineman. He ran a 5.14 40. And, you should feel good about that.
So I should be a D1 athlete. I should be a potential NFL prospect, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, you got the speed for it. You don't have the wingspan.
Everything else.
The height. You don't have you don't have much of anything else.
But I've got the speed.
But you got the speed,
right,
and you got the personality.
I'll
that's for
take
sure.
it.
So, great time being doing the Combine this year. We'll do it again next year, Cole. And next year, we're going to actually know that it's coming instead of deciding 2 hours before we're going to do it. And we'll be able to prep for it the way you should. When we come back, it is time for our weekend menu. Let's talk about food. How about that? No, the weekend menu of what games you will have to watch this weekend. That's next on the Fan Upstate. The gauntlet has been laid down, Cole. Tolo Phil says, our times were impressive, but he would smoke both of us.
I mean, is that a challenge? Is it a challenge incoming there,
Track
Phil?
is right there, Tolo Phil. It's not going anywhere.
If the price is right. Did you notice, by the way, I didn't notice until you were running your second attempt, there were guys working on our tower.
No.
And they were yelling at us.
Were they?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Were. When I was about to start running, I heard people yelling. I was like, what is that noise?
I
looked up.
Yeah.
Way up. There's guys up there.
They're like, what are those guys doing?
What are they doing? What's that idiot shirtless doing down there, right?
Idiots down there. Let's see. Texter says, I think Harold needs to run this 40-yard dash. I don't know that we have enough time before sundown.
Oh, come on.
I'm not hating on Harold, but he's self-admitted like 82 years old.
I don't remember. Yeah, he's
something like that.
Harold, we hadn't heard from you
Where
in a
you
while,
been?
man. Miss you, man.
Want to hear you call back in. 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-326-3663. I want some apologies, by the way, from some of you Tolos who said both of us were going to be up in the sixes. There was one Tolo who even said Cole was going to run a 7-second 40, which is...
I mean, that's disrespectful.
That is disrespectful.
I mean, I know I'm fat and I'm out of shape, but you know what? I mean, for a fat, out of shape, 28-year-old, I feel like I did okay.
So you ran a 4.15 roughly.
No, not 4.1.
A 5.15. You ran a 5.15. I ran roughly a 5.45. How does that compare to the other players in the combine so far?
If I ran a 4.1, I'd be.
Well, the fastest is Maxwell Harrison, cornerback from Kentucky. He ran a 4.28, so more than a second faster than me and a half second faster than you.
That's unbelievable, man. That's like taking 10 yards out of it, I mean, that's what it is, Diesel. It's like him running 30 and the same time we're running 40.
The fastest defensive lineman, and again, these are incomplete numbers because not everybody is gone yet. Edge rusher out of Tennessee, James Pierce Jr. ran a 4.47.
Wow.
So essentially a second faster than me. You got to scroll down a little bit on the list to find the next edge rusher. Colin Oliver ran a 4.56, edge rusher out of Oklahoma State. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the list, Cole, the slowest player who has registered a time so far, and this hurts me, Yahya Black, defensive tackle from Iowa, ran a 4.39. That's the slowest time registered so far, or at least on this list, a 4.39. Elijah Simmons from Tennessee ran a 5.39. Elijah Simmons, defensive tackle from Tennessee, ran a 5.37.
It's impressive. It really is. I think we did good. I think we did really good. I think it could have been a lot worse. We could have been injured.
Yeah, one of us could have face planted. There was video of a defensive lineman yesterday, Cole, who it appears as if bits came out of his shorts.
Oh.
And then he face planted onto turf with his bits out. Which that's the worst rug burn ever.
That's a tough one there,
man. That's
man.
really bad.
That is a tough one.
So, yeah, it could have been worse. I think we both did well. Both of us under 5'5". Let's go to the phone lines and go to Tom in Somerville. Tom, are you surprised by the results, or do you think we could go faster?
I didn't hear what y'all ran. What did y'all run?
Cole ran a 5.15, roughly. This is all unofficial because it was done with a cell phone timer. I ran a 5.45. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
5.45. So both of us sub 5. Cole's 28 years old, little out of shape. I'm 40,
Circles of
a
shape,
little
by the
more
way.
out of shape, and we both ran a sub 5.5.
Hey, that's impressive, guys. I mean, you keep putting up numbers like that, you never know who might call.
Never know.
It's true.
Cowboys, man.
I still got 4 years of eligibility left, so I'd like to go back to college.
Hey, I would like to go back to college, too. Now, let's cut to the chase, okay? In about an hour and a half, whenever this baseball game starts, we're going to be fighting each other in the parking lot, as a current baseball coach in this state said this past week. So, all these Clemson fans out there listening, I will admit, you got a very good baseball team. I've said it all year. You've got a very good baseball team. South Carolina has not been tested, and I don't think they're going to be tested this weekend. The Gamecocks are going to embarrass the Clemson Tigers. They're going to sweep them, and like in all the other sports, the South Carolina Gamecocks run this state, and that's going to continue this weekend. The Gamecocks are going to shock the world. They're going to sweep the Clemson Tigers. They're going to move to 14-0 at the end of next week, and this team's just going to keep getting better. Injuries, I don't care. They got the best coach in the state. It's going to get proven this weekend, and the Gamecocks are going to remain undefeated. Go Gamecocks!
We need to, Tom, rename this segment and call what you drinking and what you thinking, because it sounds like you've been drinking a little bit. If you think Carolina's going to sweep, I'll do you one better. Tom, I will bet you that Clemson sweeps. South Carolina will not sweep. You're right on the sweep, however. The brooms will be broken out, but it's the Tigers who will be on top, Tom.
I guess we'll see, Cole. I guess we'll see. I mean, if South Carolina, you know, they do own Clemson this year in all the major sports.
They do.
So
it's true.
They might try to fetch them a bone. They might let them win a game. But when it's all said and done, I think we're going to see that Clemson's lack of pitching depth is going to come back to bite them, and the Gamecocks are going to be ready for them. Gamecocks going to score a bunch of runs. They're going to hit a bunch of home runs. And I think the story of this team at the end of the weekend is going to be the pitching staff stepped up. And that's all we're going to be talking about. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great weekend. And as always, go Gamecocks.
Tom understanding the assignment. Now, you know, Cole, that we're going to have to clip that.
Yeah.
And we're going to have it available on Monday.
Yes.
Depending on what happens. We either are going to throw out the red carpet and tell Tom that he was right about everything, or we're going to have to get him to come back on and eat some crow. Barbecued, sauteed, grilled, however you want to make it.
I'll definitely clip it. I think, look, I know that picking Clemson to sweep is a little bullish. Somebody told me earlier this week, Jack Veltri, when we were talking Wednesday night, I believe it was, Diesel, he said, really, you think Clemson sweeps? And I said, yeah, I think I do. He said, I don't know if I'm with you on that, but he said, we'll see. I think Clemson sweeping might be a little bit of a pushing the envelope, maybe a little bit of a overstep, but I do believe they will. I just don't know that South Carolina's that their pitching staff will be able to handle the bats. It's very simple, and we're gonna find out. To Tom's point, I'm excited. 2 hours from now, first pitch in Clemson, and then Diesel tomorrow. A game you and I will be at Flora Field. How about that?
We got two still basically untested teams. Clemson went 2-1 in their 3 games against power conference competition to start the season, but that was a couple of weeks ago, Cole. We don't know how they're going to react now that they're facing really good pitching yet again. So it's going to be fascinating to find out. And game 1 of that series is now just under 2 hours away. 7 o'clock first pitch down at Doug Kingsmore Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina, at Clemson. That is going to kick off your weekend menu. That's basically the only thing worth watching tonight.
Is that really the only thing, man? That's
pretty much.
Welcome to a Friday in February.
There's some
right?
NBA action on, I'm sure, tonight, but like our Tolos don't give a rip about the
Most
NBA.
of them
They
don't. Most of them don't put all of them in there. Most of them.
I mean, there's let's see who's playing tonight. You got Denver, Detroit, Oklahoma City, Atlanta, Cleveland, Boston. That's actually a good matchup. That's a pretty good one. Portland, Brooklyn, no. Pacers, Heat, no. Raptors, Bulls, no. Knicks versus the Grizzlies, maybe.
It's a good game.
It's college baseball season, man. It's officially here, and it's taking over. It's sweeping the NBA out of the way.
Well, if you're not an NBA fan, again, there are a lot of NBA fans out there. They may not call the show every day, but there are a lot of them out there. It's just a matter of what what does it for you. We know that a lot of people don't like the NBA, but some do. I think I watch a little bit this time of year. Obviously, with college baseball getting here, that dominates more. But college basketball as well, Diesel. I'm looking down the college basketball slate. Nothing tonight.
Nothing.
I mean,
Tomorrow is huge.
Yeah,
tomorrow is a great day for college basketball, and we're here to help you plan out your day. So if you got to get out there and do some yard work, get out there and do it early because Clemson takes the court at noon tomorrow. 23-5 Clemson against 14-14 Virginia. They're not great, but they don't suck either. They're just a mediocre Virginia team. That is at noon. At 1 o'clock, here's probably the bell cow of the first half of the day. Auburn versus Kentucky. Fantastic matchup there. Number one team in the country going on the road to face the Kentucky Wildcats. Always a daunting task, even if the Kentucky team is down just a little bit this year. Moving over to the baseball side of things, first pitch tomorrow, 1:30. Clemson versus South Carolina at Fluor Field. South Carolina designated the home team in that matchup, Cole. So they will obviously get to bat second. They will get to close this thing out. We'll see how it goes. You and I will both be there bringing all kinds of photos and video and sights and sounds and maybe just tastes of the field or tastes of the goods that they have in the concession stands behind us because I plan on visiting those quite a bit. You can't go to
by the way, if you're
can't go to a baseball game without a hot dog and a bag of peanuts.
If you're there tomorrow, Tolos, come say hi to Diesel and I. We'll be
on the concourse.
Somewhere on the main concourse. We don't know exactly where, but just where you go to use the restroom at Fluor and visit, the concessions. No, really. Because
to be clear, don't come find us and go to the restroom there.
Right, yeah, very clear. They don't have the press box space for the amount of press media covering a Clemson baseball game versus South Carolina, so they put all of the media on the main concourse. It's like roped off, so there's a rope barrier there, right? But
if
you
stop
can be there,
a lot of people.
Yes, come see us tomorrow. Come see us. It should be a lot of fun.
Just as coming up on Monday, March 10th, we're going to be in Asheville at the SoCon Championship game. And if you're going to be at that, we want you to come see us there as well.
There's a good little barbecue spot up there, man, and it's like a Asheville barbecue, not a barbecue that you were used to here.
Yeah.
It's really good, though, and I can't remember. We need to find that. We need to find that Asheville barbecue spot. Asheville's a unique little city, man.
At 2 o'clock tomorrow, this one is big for Clemson because they're sitting just ahead of them in the AP Top 15. Texas Tech at number 10. Granted, remember, they did lose to Houston earlier this week, so they will fall just a little bit. They're going on the road to Kansas. Kansas down on their luck a little bit this year, still a plus 500 team, though. So if Texas Tech were to lose 2 in a row, Clemson very well jumps them, probably ends up in that maybe 12 spot or 11 spot at least going into the ACC tournament. 2 o'clock. Furman at Wofford. I know that's a hard choice for you, Cole, to choose whether to go to Clemson, South Carolina baseball or to Furman, Wofford basketball.
Yes.
But that tip-off is at 2.
If you don't, here's the deal tomorrow. Here's what I have to do tomorrow. Just so you know, just so our Tolos know, because they care. I have to be in Anderson tomorrow morning at 8:30 for a job. I plan to be at Fluor Field by noon. However, if you don't see me, just know I'm either working late and mad at somebody because I'm having to work late on a Saturday, or I'm at Wofford and Spartanburg watching Wofford Furman. You'll probably see me. It's Clemson, South Carolina, but I'm not going to lie to you. That being on the same day of Wofford Furman is tough because I love Wofford Furman. I love it. Grew up on it. And it's at Wofford. And Wofford won the first time at Easel, and it wasn't.
Trying to sweep.
It wasn't close.
But Furman has played real well. They beat the living, what, out of Citadel
100%
over the weekend.
They're playing a lot better.
So.
They're playing a lot better.
4 o'clock slate. You got number 6 Alabama, number 5 Tennessee. What sport is this? 6 and 5. It feels like a football matchup.
Yeah.
If you told me number 6 Alabama, number 5 Tennessee in football, that would make sense. That's at 4 o'clock. Then at 6 o'clock, you got Louisville Pitt. Pitt's on a 2-game losing streak, but they're still a dangerous basketball team. Louisville is very, very good, but they are not unbeatable. And then 8:30, Cole, the nightcap of all nightcaps, number 12, Texas A&M at number 3, Florida, who just lost to Georgia this past week. So we'll see if Florida can bounce back. I have no doubt that they will, and that also helps Clemson rise up in the polls.
Sure.
Sunday, 3:30, NASCAR Cup Series at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. I was looking up photos of this place. I didn't know where Circuit of the Americas is.
Below Austin, Corpus Christi area, somewhere down there. Is that right?
Interesting. It's a road course.
It's a road course.
It's very brightly colored. You're going to think that you're watching a video game because, they've painted all the caution areas or the extra asphalt on the outside of these curves.
It is in the armpit of the state of Texas, just so you know. Now, I will say this.
I thought that was Waco.
No, Waco's up north. Waco's up north. I mean, they call the armpit down there in Houston, Corpus Christi area.
They actually call it that.
Yeah, it's the armpit, man.
That's disrespectful.
Well, it might be a little bit.
Wow.
It might be, but
you know where you live? You live in the butthole of Texas.
You live in the armpit.
Wow.
And listen, I'll say this. I the past 2 weeks I've watched the race. I won't watch this week. Number one, because I'll be at South Carolina Clemson on Sunday. Number two, I don't do the road courses don't do it for me. I watch NASCAR because I want to see cars go fast. Now, I like small tracks. I love Bristol. Bristol's awesome. But the road courses, it's a hard watch. I cannot do the road courses.
Yeah, they're out there doing what, like 85, 90 miles an hour?
Yeah, maybe they might top 100 and something.
What's the point? And then 5 o'clock, the thing that's going to cap off the weekend for a lot of our Tolos, 5 o'clock, Clemson at South Carolina, first pitch from Columbia. Going to be a fascinating weekend of sports, Cole. 3 matchups between Clemson and South Carolina in baseball. A lot of really good college basketball on Saturday and some NBA tonight.
Yeah, I think overall it is a weekend in February, right? Not a lot of action that moves the meter. Think about this. If it weren't for Clemson, South Carolina this weekend, we'd be sitting here thinking, boy, we got college basketball and that's it. And again, I will say, thank God I love college basketball and all these other sports, because if I didn't,
it'd be a weekend to catch up on laundry.
I did that this morning. Thank you. And no, it was only there for 2.5 weeks, not 3 weeks in my extra bedroom.
How high does Laundry Mountain have to get before you'll say, all right, I have to do
Don't
this?
ask me that. I'm not proud of that.
Like waist high? When the pile gets waist high,
no,
you gotta do something about
I have an extra bedroom. I put it on the bed in the extra bedroom. So after I take them out of the dryer, throw them on the bed. Sometimes they'll sit there for a week.
Oh, so Laundry Mountain is at least a clean Laundry Mountain.
Yeah. I don't do the dirty stuff.
Oh, you don't do a mountain of dirty clothes.
No. I'm very. Here's the bad part. I'm quick on getting the dirty in the wash.
Well, that's because it's easy.
It's easy.
You do this. It takes moments to go bloop. It's the folding part. That's what we got to figure out.
I can't do it.
You know what?
Do you like it?
Folding clothes?
Yeah,
no.
Hate it.
Who the hell likes folding laundry?
Women do.
Not Ashley.
Does your wife?
No. She hates doing it.
There are women out there.
Can I be real with you? Can I tell you a secret, Cole?
Well, I don't know. Just so you know, I don't know that it's going to be a secret after you tell me on the radio.
Well, she doesn't listen to the show,
okay,
so it's okay.
That's rude.
Half the time when Ashley folds my laundry, I have to go back and redo it. Because it's like, I believe it or not, I am meticulous about sharp edges.
Wow. See, I'm not.
I want, I want everything to be folded like clean, flat, no wrinkles. She kind of just halfway folds it and is like, all right, that's good enough. That's not good enough for me.
So you want it crisp.
It's got to be crisp, and she does not fold it crisp.
How about that?
I do my own laundry.
Do you really?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I know our Tolos are fascinated by this. I was watching the new Nate Bargatze stand-up special the other night. It's on Netflix if anybody wants to watch it. There is a bit towards the end of his stand-up where he thinks that he has got the ultimate trump card when it comes to getting out of an argument with his wife. And his argument is, I do my own laundry.
Wow.
He thinks that is like the end all. Well, screw you. You can't tell me anything because I do my own laundry.
It's a big part of it, though, right?
I used it. I tried to do that. And
how'd that work
out?
Not work out?
Did not have the desired effect.
Did not
Not
work
even
out.
close.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend.
She's actually said, stop bringing up that argument. As a matter of fact, I've used it like 3 times.
Pac Fan Shuff on the text line. Speaking of text line, you can text the show 844-FAN-PHONE, F-O-N-E. Pac Fan Shuff says, high school baseball back this weekend. That's crazy, man. That is that's wild that it's already back. I mean, high school basketball, we just talked to Lou Bezjak and the 3 o'clock hour. Not 2 o'clock. We're not on the air at 2 o'clock. I don't know if you know that or not. I don't know where I got that from. But Tolos, if you missed that interview, I'll have it for you later in the 6 o'clock hour. Diesel, real quick, what concert? What did you? What's happening tonight?
Spartanburg Memorial Coliseum. I'm going to see
Auditorium.
Aziz.
Auditorium, not a Coliseum. We're not that big.
Auditorium.
Yeah,
Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium. I'm going to see Aziz Ansari, stand-up comedian. Did you ever watch Parks and Rec? The show Parks and Rec on TV?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. He was one of the main characters.
So he's a stand-up comedian?
Yeah, he's a stand-up comedian. He's an actor, stand-up comedian. I'll show you his picture. You may recognize him. That is Aziz Ansari. You know that?
No, I've never seen him before.
You've never seen him before?
No, but you knew, like you knew of him before.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
How about that?
Aziz, he's
pretty funny, though.
He's a funny guy. And as a matter of fact, he's from Columbia.
No way.
Born and raised
like
in
South Carolina or
South Carolina.
Okay.
February 23rd, 1983. Born in Columbia, South Carolina.
No way. Spartanburg. How about that? Do you know that that Kevin Hart came to Spartanburg as well? Not recently. I mean, not long ago.
So?
Kevin Hart came to the auditorium. I mean, that's
big
huge for Spartanburg. I mean,
there was a while then Kevin Hart was everywhere. Everywhere. He was in movies. He had multiple stand-ups out in a tight period of time. See, you know, it's hard to stay on top forever.
Speaking of staying on top, who's on top right now in bracketology? We'll take a look at the latest bracketology by ESPN in the very next segment. Very simple question here, Diesel, to begin this segment for you and the Tolos as well. At 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663. Yes or no question. Should I be sore 1 hour after running a 40-yard dash?
Where are you sore?
Kind of like in my back.
Oh, that's not good. No, that's not
1
good.
hour after. I mean, come on.
An
How
hour
pitiful.
later. Yeah.
I mean, maybe tightness is the better word instead of sore.
You were cooking, man. I give you a lot of credit. You were fast.
I was getting it. I was.
It's because
really
you took
trying.
the sweatshirt off.
Yep.
He ran it shirtless.
Went nude.
He ran shirtless.
Wonder what those people on the side of the road were thinking. Because traffic was so bad.
Who are these morons?
What
but
are
see,
they
like
doing?
when you're doing it, you gotta black that out
you
and
gotta
not
just-
worry about what they think.
I didn't focus on them. I can't wait to go back though and watch it on the stream. That's gotta be a good watch on the stream. Tolos, if you missed it, the stream is saved, and I think Diesel after it's done
on
for the
YouTube.
day, you can go back and scroll, right?
Yeah, you can go back
But
and watch it on.
can you go back in real time in YouTube or no? Because I know you can on Twitter.
I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna
You know
find
what I
that
mean,
out.
though? Like if you're watching right now, if you can revert. Hey, Tolo's on the YouTube stream. There's 104 of you right now on the stream. Let us know. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at The Fan Upstate. Also, do us a favor and give us a follow on Twitter, on X, if you haven't done so already. Diesel, is at Diesel on Radio. I am at the Cole Bryson.
The answer is yes. Yes, you can go back and scroll
while it's still live.
While it's still live. So here I'm watching at the moment, Cole. I'm watching our setup. Let me see if I can get to.
I didn't know you could see on Twitter. I believe on the Twitter live stream, like if you're watching the show right now on Twitter, you can't go back and watch a previous part of the show until it's saved, until it's done. So I didn't know that.
I found a moment where Rob Jones's face just froze in a real funny way.
Rob Jones was the best. He was the best. He was a great watchman for our 40-yard dash. Shout out Rob Jones. I didn't know you could do that. I really didn't know you could go. How do we look? Did we look embarrassing? Was it bad?
I'm trying to find so we're working through a large. Here's your run, Cole. That's
Pretty
about
good.
to take place.
Pretty good.
You're getting your stance. Your shirt's off. I'm telling you, dude, you got good form. Now I think you could have been a little bit faster, but when you ran a little bit upright and leaned back a little bit.
Really?
So you were very, very vertical. When you watch the best of the best do it,
they're down, right?
Yeah, they're down. They're running, leaning forward. So that might have cost you a little bit more time.
Slow, like low to the ground. Maybe I was too high to the ground. That is so funny. Tolos, if you missed it, you can go back on YouTube. I'm watching it right now as well, Diesel.
Oh, I'm doing the same thing. I'm kind of leaned back too.
Really? So you think next time we'll know better?
I think so.
To kind of
yeah,
keep that body more down.
Well, I mean, we don't know. We're not athletes. We're not even mathletes.
I about ran into the fence. Did you see me almost run into the fence? What happened there? I had so much momentum, I couldn't stop. That's great. That is great. Tolos, go back and watch that if you hadn't checked it out yet. Diesel, the latest bracketology. That's not a word, by the way. I typed it in on the rundown, and it gave me the little squiggly red line, you know what I mean, where it wants you to fix the word. I guess that's not an actual word yet. But the top overall seed we know is Auburn, the latest first team out. Diesel, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Guessing game. First team out comes from the SEC. They're a team that just had an upset win a couple of days ago, but is toward the bottom of the conference. The first team out, according to ESPN's Joe Lunardi, is. Give me a good guess.
First team out, North Carolina Tar Heels.
Georgia.
Oh,
Georgia. The last team in, Texas. So the first team out's the SEC team. The last team in is an SEC team as well. Joe Lunardi says, as hard as it might be to believe that St. John's hasn't won an NCAA tournament game since the turn of the century.
Ooh.
Think about that. The date was March 16th, 2000. The Red Storm squeaked past Northern Arizona before falling victim to the emerging Gonzaga dynasty. The Johnnies have been back to the dance 4 times since. losing their opening game each time. Now they have a virtual lock, Diesel, to advance in the 2025 tournament. Rick Pitino, listen to this. Rick Pitino of St. John's has lost just 5 NCAA openers in 24 trips. That is impressive. St. John's is a sleeper, right? You know they're not a sleeper, Cole. You're saying, well, guess what? St. John's isn't normally – let me say this. Let me back up. They're not a blue blood. We don't think of them as being a strong candidate each and every year in the tournament. So to say they're a sleeper may be an understatement because of the year they've had. They've had an incredible year, but they're a team, Diesel, that I think can make a deep run. 3 of the 5, by the way, 3 of the 5 came at Boston University for Pitino and Iona. As a power conference coach, Pitino is 19-2 in the first round. So I'm just telling you right now, all the favorites you want to talk about, Auburns of the worlds, the Dukes of the worlds, and even Clemson, St. John's might be the team, Diesel, that we need to circle and say this is a Sweet 16 team without a doubt.
Yeah, you don't bet against Rick Pitino, right? 25-4 on the season. They've looked real good throughout the season. Their problem, Cole, is they're going to run into some issues, I think, once they get past the round of 32 because they're sub 500 against quad 1 teams, 3-4, by the way. Losses to Baylor, Georgia, Creighton, and Villanova.
Wow.
Wins against Xavier, Marquette, and UConn. Beating UConn is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
They are 9-0 in quad 2 games. So typically I would think, depending on your draw, you're probably playing a quad 2 team in the first round. So I have no reason to think they wouldn't get past that.
I think so too.
8-0 against quad 3, 5-0 against quad 4. So,
man, I think they're a Sweet 16 team though, based on that. Like, maybe to your point, maybe they go out, maybe St. John's gets beaten in the Sweet 16. But, like, I would say right now, if you talk about a safe bet, it just feels like a safe bet that St. John's is going to be in the Sweet 16. It really does. Joe Lenardi on the bubble, Diesel. Last 4 buys has Baylor, San Diego State, Arkansas, and Nebraska. The last 4 in Oklahoma, Indiana, Ohio State, and Texas. First 4 out. You ready for this? This is where it gets interesting. Georgia, Boise State, Xavier, and you just guessed it a minute ago, North Carolina. Joe Lenardi has North Carolina as one of the first 4 out. Next 4 in, Joe Lenardi has Wake Forest, SMU, Cincinnati, and Villanova. If North Carolina, where will we be? What will the conversation be, Diesel, after Selection Sunday? So the Monday following it, what will the conversation be if North Carolina is left out? The coach, Hubert Davis, just got a huge extension, and we're sitting here thinking, okay, the past 4 years, they haven't made the tournament twice. That's tough.
Yeah, it makes you say, how much are North Carolina fans going to be willing to spend to buy this guy out? Because, number one, they're embarrassed that the numbers never actually got released, and that's what happened just a few days ago. The numbers were finally released. The extension was offered over the last summer, but the numbers were finally released. It hurts that you get the extension, the numbers come out, then you're potentially talking about missing the tournament. That's when North Carolina fans start shaking out the couch cushions and they find a bunch of $100 bills and they say, hey, we gotta spend it and get rid of this guy.
JB and Greer says the Calipari show and Patino show on Vice TV is amazing. What is that, JB? I'm not familiar with that. Do you know what that is, Diesel? The Calipari and Patino show on Vice TV? I'm not sure I'm familiar with that, JB and Greer. Appreciate you texting the show, though. I am going to look it up. Is it The Return? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Vice TV will air shows. Oh, here it is. Vice TV will air shows on Rick Pitino and John Calipari before March Madness. No, I hadn't heard of this. Vice TV expanding its footprint with several new original sports series, including 2 that will document 2 famous college basketball coaches.
Vice documentaries used to be really good. Vice is it's just a media company, and they got really famous, I would say, by embedding their journalists into some very dangerous situations. I'm talking like getting them in with drug cartels, getting them in with like some really scary people, and that's how they kind of got attention for themselves. And they still do some good work. I'm not disparaging what it is that they do.
I'll have to watch that.
They recently put one out about the production or where the song "Last Resort" from Papa Roach came from, and it was a really good documentary, really good stuff. So they do good work, and I'm going to be excited to go back and watch this because I'd never heard of this.
Yeah, I have to. I'll have to check it out as well. Texter from the 803 says, "Nah, UNC will still make the tournament, or will still make a tournament. They'll just have to be invited." See what you did there, Texter. And then what else? Let's see, Joe Lenardi. Anything we've missed here in the 68 team bracket? Let's look, Diesel. Who, as of right now today, does Joe Lenardi have the Clemson Tigers facing in the very first round of the men's basketball tournament? That is, let's see, conference breakdown, by the way, he has 13 SEC teams in and 3 ACC. 3 ACC.
Where's Jim Phillips? Why are we not hearing anything from Jim Phillips about, we need our membership to step it up. We need our membership, to fix this. This is not who the ACC is. Where is he?
Listen to this. Right now in the Providence Division, South Atlanta part of the bracket, Joe Lenardi has Clemson potentially facing the 12 seed as a 5, Ohio State or Texas. Ooh. I don't know that that's a wonderful draw first round. I mean, Ohio State, I watched them the other night versus they played this a couple nights ago. They look good. Texas is, wishy-washy, but they're still, what Texas is? They're battered. They've played in the SEC all season. I know they lost to South Carolina on Saturday, but I don't know about that. As a Clemson fan, Tolos, how would you feel if your first round draw was Ohio State or Texas? That's not a gimme.
I mean, at least you feel like you're must watch because you're going to get a lot of eyeballs from Texas fans and Buckeye fans.
Kind of sounds like a round of 32 matchup, right?
It does.
That would be fascinating. I don't know if that'll come to fruition or not.
You might be in somebody's inbox saying, "What are you doing underseeding Texas and Oklahoma or Texas and Ohio State like that?"
So if the season ended today, Joe Lenardi conference breakdown has 13 SEC teams making the tournament, 11 from the Big Ten, 8 Diesel from the Big 12, 4 from the Big East, and 3 from the ACC, 3 from the Mountain West, and 2 from the WCC. The ACC is 5th in the amount of teams getting in. That is wild.
Once dominant conference, not just a proud conference, a dominant conference. We used to talk about the ACC getting 13 teams in. And now we're talking about
every year.
Said 5 or 3? He's got 5 or 3 listed.
3. I don't
Duke,
know.
Clemson, Louisville.
Duke, Clemson, Louisville. I don't know. I'm just looking back in reference to see 10, 15 years ago, Diesel. But, man, you're talking about a huge drop-off from being, like you said, once a powerhouse. That's a big drop-off. I'm looking at, for example, I just searched randomly 2005 NCAA tournament. And you're talking about Syracuse. You're talking about Duke, obviously. North Carolina State. North Carolina, there's 4 right there. Let's see. Wake Forest, there's 5. There's Winthrop. How about that? Look at that. So as of right now, there's Georgia Tech, there's 6. Pittsburgh, there's 7. I don't know if Pitt was in the ACC then. So you're talking about 7. Boston College, there's 8. You're talking about 8 to 9 teams 10, 15 years ago from the ACC that were normally getting in on a year in and year out basis, and that's dropped to 3. That is a significant drop.
Cole,
JB, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we've got the combine on the TV in here, and we just had back-to-back runs from Clemson players. One, and R.J. Mickens, who finished as a Clemson Tiger, Andrew Makuba, who finished as a Texas Longhorn. Isn't it wild, Cole, that these guys run identical times, back-to-back runs? R.J. Mickens ran a 4.50 twice, separated by probably 15 minutes of attempts.
No way.
Andrew Makuba ran a 4.46 and a 4.46. Like, they have this dialed in.
How do you do that?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's an unofficial time. And there goes Jalen Reed DB from Penn State who did the exact same thing as well.
They're hitting it both times?
Both times,
runs?
dead on both times.
That is impressive. I mean, they've got that thing locked down, don't
Yes, they do.
How about that?
On the other side of the break, Cole, there's some news coming out of Tampa. A once beloved, temporarily disgraced member of the Buccaneers' history is back, baby. He is so back. That conversation next. Cole, not to get political here on Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson, but we've seen a shift in some people's public front-facing dealing with, like, the Me Too movement, with standards about comedy. They got really restrictive over the past 4 years or so. And Cole, it seems like we're now finally seeing an undoing of all that, which I don't think a whole lot of people would argue is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing that we're kind of undoing some of the unfair wrongs that happened over the last 4 years, especially when it comes to public sentiment and public perception. Jon Gruden has been restored to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Ring of Honor. Remember, Jon Gruden was essentially doxxed by the NFL when a probe into workplace emails exposed John's quote-unquote racist and homophobic rhetoric in work emails. Yep. I remember when this came down, I don't even think it was not even about Jon Gruden. It wasn't the point to catch Jon Gruden at anything. He just so happened to be caught up in all these emails that were released and made public. And look, you talk to football players and football coaches, the language that's used inside of a locker room doesn't fly out in the world, out in the public world, but it is pervasive. It is everywhere. Yeah. And Jon Gruden did send emails with some pretty harsh things in his emails, and the public essentially canceled him for it back in 2018. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have said, all right, enough time has passed. We're not going to hold that against you anymore. We're going to put your name back in the Ring of Honor. Good thing or bad thing?
I don't know exactly what he did, what he sent in terms of knowing the full story. Look, if Jon Gruden, who is hilarious, by the way, yes. He's now with Barstool, and the content that he does there is really, really funny. If Jon Gruden did something that was wrong in any way and took punishment for it, the punishment is acceptable, right? I mean, you mess up in life, you have consequences. We've all done it. We've all been there. So I don't want to say it's right or wrong for them to put him there, but I will say this. I do believe there's a difference between making a mistake and, committing the same thing over and over, committing the same crime, if you will, over and over and over. And for those that have made mistakes, I'm a believer that people do deserve a second chance, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, though, Jon Gruden, he's known as a very good coach. And ultimately, him being in the Ring of Honor in Tampa Bay, to me, doesn't make or break his legacy. I look at him as a really good football coach. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
See, I think it was, honestly, I think it was the wrong move to pull his name off the Ring of Honor, and it's the wrong move to put it back. His name was there because he was a great coach, because he won a lot of games, because he was so successful as a football coach. He wasn't put there because he's a great person.
Right.
Right? And if it was a great person, then Edna in the cafeteria would be in the Ring of Honor in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was put there because he was a winning coach. Mm-hmm. So pulling his name off there because he sent a few, could be a lot. I don't know. It's been a lot. I remember this story breaking, but I don't remember a tremendous amount of the details. His name shouldn't have been pulled down. It should have been pulled. Now, I think it sets an equally bad precedent to put it back.
Yeah.
Because now you're telling me that every time the public sentiment sways,
you're gonna just
you're gonna flop, and you're gonna do what? You're gonna roll over Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're gonna show your belly and say, "Oh, okay, public is sensitive now. Let's take his name back down." Okay, now public is not as sensitive. Let's put his name back up, and it's just going to go back and forth.
Texter from the 803 says, I'm a Buccaneers fan, and I'm okay with it. I can assure you there are people in other rings of honor in the Hall of Fame who have said much worse.
Right.
True. It's true. Again, I don't know exactly what he said or what was said, but you're right on having said much worse. I'm sure that's right. It still doesn't make what he did if he did it right, but I'm with you. Ultimately, Diesel, we that's the society. Right? And then I hope we're getting away from that of, caving to culture, caving to what people want you to do. I don't know. There's a lot to that's a deep subject for another day, right? But ultimately, I hope we're getting better in that. Diesel, on the other side, we'll continue the conversation. Combine happening. We'll dive back into our conversation in hour number 2 with Lou Bezjak, or hour number 4, not number 2. It's the 4 o'clock hour coming up. And Scotty from BMW joins the stream. What's up, Scotty? All that and more next. Tolos, it's our number 4, numero cuatro of Wire to Wire. He is Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson. You Tolos out there. It's Friday. You're getting off work. You're probably already off work. Scotty from BMW Diesel on the YouTube stream. I think he goes in to work about this time. We saw Jersey Joe today.
How about that? Yeah, he's a real celebrity.
We ran the 40-yard dash in the parking lot. We'll get into that in a second. But Tolos, let us know in this segment as we've got a really awesome interview with Lou Bezjak coming up to cover the high school upper state basketball championships. But in this segment, as we begin kickoff hour number 4, let's hear from you, Tolos. Let's hear from you, Tolos, on what your weekend plans look like in February, late February, almost March. Getting to that spring cleaning time of year, Diesel. It's, man, look at that. It's starting to stay daylight outside.
I love it.
Longer and longer. A few days from now, it'll be daylight savings time. Tolos, what is your weekend plans? What does your weekend slate look like? 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663. Diesel, starting with you. Let's run through our weekend. What our weekend looks like late February. You are hitting out of here in a few minutes to head to the Sparkle City, baby.
Yeah, I'm going up to Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium, not a Coliseum. Because I am headed to go see Aziz Ansari, a stand-up comedian born and raised in Columbia, South Carolina. He is famous for being on the TV show Parks and Rec, among other things. He's done, I think, maybe a few small movie roles. Stand-up comedy is probably his main gig outside of being on Parks and Rec, which he was a main character on that show for its entire run, which was probably close to 10 years. So that's a big deal to be on a show like that for that long.
So Diesel heading to the Berg for that. Is that some Odyssey hookup? Little leftovers?
It is a little leftover.
You and the wife going down there to.
I'm happy to pick up those sloppy seconds.
Do you listen? Nothing wrong with that, right? And
I'm talking about the tickets.
The tickets.
Yeah.
Now, does your wife? Is she a comedy fan of him as well?
She loves stand-up comedy.
I like it too. I'll tell you this, man. I don't ever go to comedy shows.
You should. Comedy shows are great.
I know.
I've seen a handful of big comedians over the years. I've seen. Let's see.
Dewey?
Never saw Dewey, though Dewey is on the phone. Dewey's more of a sit-down comedian than a stand-up comic.
True.
I saw Jim Jeffries. No, not Jim Jeffries. Jim Gaffigan, the Hot Pocket guy. You know him.
Yeah.
So I saw Jim Gaffigan. I saw Steve-O do stand-up comedy.
Steve-O,
I've seen Eliza Schlesinger, big-time stand-up comic. I saw Nikki Glazer just a couple of months ago when she played in Greenville at the Peace Center. I saw Jim Brewer, the Goat Boy from SNL. So I've seen a handful of big-time comedians.
Big time. Scotty from BMW says, I'm off until Monday. I'm sorry, Scotty. I said that you were probably going into work. He said, but yes, you're right. I normally go in right about now. Off till Monday. I like it, Scotty from BMW. Let us know, Tolos, what your weekend plans are. What does your weekend look like for late February, early March, daylight savings in about 10 days, 9-10 days from now, just around the corner. Diesel, tomorrow, you and I making our way to Floor Field from Clemson, South Carolina. And we'll be out there. Do you know tomorrow is supposed to be nice? So I think we're going to be in store for some good weather. Now, it is supposed to get cold on Sunday, but right now, man, high of 72 tomorrow.
Love it. I'll be out there. I'll be flashing the calves tomorrow. I may be on crutches because my left Achilles is kind of hurting.
My back's a little tight right here. 72, you're going to be in the shade tomorrow at Clemson, South Carolina at Floor Field in Greenville. Do you go light pullover? Do you go short sleeve? Are you brave enough to go short sleeve? Or do you throw on, like a hoodie, something that might be too much for 72, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to be in the shade.
Well, good news is I've got the same exact shirt, but in blue. I could rock that tomorrow if I wanted to.
I'd say light, something light.
We're going to need to wear the Fan Upstate gear because Tolos are going to be looking for us inside that roped-off area.
Well, we need
on the concourse.
Just a shout out to promotions and management. Maybe we need some better Fan Upstate gear. I have a shirt. That's it. A polo.
I've got the Fan Upstate hoodie. I've got the blue hoodie with the Fan Upstate logo right there.
We need some swag, man. We need a listener. I tell you what we need to do. We need
some
I
Riz
may get in trouble for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. We need somebody out there who's listening, who owns a big multi-million-dollar business or a normal-sized business that says, hey, I want to get my name out there. We need to get some sweet Fan Upstate swag. You and I wear it all the time on locations, put Tolo on it, and get this thing going. And really get us some swag out there. Get it to the community.
Want is you've got this nice looking Odyssey hoodie. I want a Fan Upstate hoodie just like that with the big old Fan Upstate logo printed across the chest. Like
I thought that's what you got.
No, it's little. It's embroidered like right there.
Yeah.
But I want it big across the chest. I want Tolo printed across the back, all that kind of stuff.
I love that. Rob Jones on the text line says, I say put Gruden in the Ring of Honor in Tampa. I'm anti-cancel culture. Putting him in is a win for free speech. Lefty Tiger says, not a weekend plan, but only comedy show I've ever been to was 2 years ago at the Well. Bert Kreischer.
The shirtless guy. The machine. That guy.
Who that is.
You don't know who Bert Kreischer is?
Oh, fully loaded
I don't
tour.
think Bert Kreischer's all that funny.
Lefty Tiger says he doesn't remember it. What's the reason? Lefty Tiger, why don't
I
you
did see John Reap do stand-up once.
Really?
That thing got a Hemi in it, that guy.
Yeah.
You know,
I've heard of him.
Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. I think he was in that one.
I'm not well versed. You know me. If it's movies or stand-up or anything else other than sports, I'm not well versed.
You could name like the top 5 bow hunters right now in America, but you can't name any comedians.
But look, I'm trying to get better. I'll tell you why. I don't watch a lot of movies. I would be willing to tell you, Diesel, in the year 2025, I haven't watched a single movie. Okay, now do you understand why?
Wow.
Have you watched a movie in 2025?
I watched a movie yesterday.
Okay, now you understand why
you struggle.
In 2024, maybe I watched 5.
You need to pick it up, man. You need to pick
it up. I
up.
watch shows. I like shows. For whatever reason, I like shows better. I do like shows. I'm on a kick right now since sports are kind of dwindling down. I love my FBI. You need to check out FBI if you haven't done so already.
Next week, Cole, this needs to go on the agenda next week. We need to have a topic where Tolos send us, we need to create a list. 3 comedy movies, 3 action movies, and 3
to catch up.
Whatever's.
Now, I will say
that Cole has to watch.
Action movies, I'm for. I'm good. I like the action. You know what's crazy? I don't necessarily love the comedy movies.
Really?
This is weird.
Well, everybody's concept of comedy is subjective. I get that.
This is my taste. Diesel, just so you know, and Tolos, my taste in shows and movie is very simple. I want to watch a show and a movie where as many people as possible get shot. I love action. I love violence.
Rambo?
I love crime. I love war movies. I love any kind of action. John Wick, that's why I love him. It's like 8 million shooting.
I guess you need to go back and watch Gettysburg then.
Great movie.
It's a great movie.
Great movie.
Sam Elliott. How is Sam Elliott not aged a day from the movie Gettysburg, which was filmed obviously in 1864 to 2025?
But Diesel, if there's no action, maybe it's I don't know.
What about action comedies?
Like Kevin Hart's
Jumanji, or
I did like Kevin Hart's action comedy a couple of years ago. What was it? It was funny, I will admit. And you know the
Rush Hour.
Okay,
Rush Hour?
Let me give you the best example to answer your question. One of my all-time favorite movie series, action comedy, Bad Boys. I love Bad Boys.
Oh, the new Bad Boys is great. I just watched it. Have you seen it yet?
I've seen it. It's so good.
It's so good.
I saw it in theaters.
It's not as good as the first one.
It's good,
and I'm
though.
going to tell you.
It's good.
I don't know when that movie came, when Bad Boys Part 1 came out. I don't know how old I was at that exact time.
Oh, my God. That's been 20 years.
It's been more than that.
Has it been more than 20?
Taya Leone, oh, God. That was one of my childhood crushes, was Taya Leone.
I would say 20 years off the top of my head. I was way off.
What year was that?
19. It was released 95.
95. I was 11.
95.
I was 11 years old, and I had the hugest crush on Taya Leone.
I'll tell you, man. You brought up action comedy. Normally I would say no, but I love those two, the 2 actors. You can tell me their names. The 2 main characters in Bad Boys are
Morgan Freeman and
No. I'm not that dumb. I may be dumb.
Samuel L. Jackson. Now, could you imagine Bad Boys set 30 years in the future? starring, come on, starring Sam Jackson in the role of Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence is who I was talking about.
And
Will Smith.
Will Smith. There
But
you go.
let me tell you
Oh,
this.
you had to Google it, didn't you?
I love Martin Lawrence. Like, love Martin.
great.
I think I just think, like, Will Smith's great and everything, especially at slapping people on stage. I think Martin Lawrence is the, like, top 3. He is so funny.
Really?
I love Martin Lawrence, man. I Bad Boys is the best. It doesn't matter.
It's a great movie.
It's all of them.
And they flip-flop their
man.
personalities a little bit in Bad Boy. Was it Bad Boy 4? Is that the fourth one or the third one?
The newest one?
The newest one. That's the fourth one, right? It's
right?
the fourth one. And it's real good. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go watch it. I think it's on Netflix, but I know it's out on streaming. If you've got the big one, it's either on Max or it's on Netflix. I don't remember which one, but it's great.
Shadowlike texts the show and says, playing a few songs at a birthday party tomorrow and watching the race while I nap Sunday. What kind of song? What do you mean, Shadowlike? Are you
DJing?
DJ or guitar? I mean, what are we doing here? Playing some songs? Lefty Tiger says on the text line at 844-326-3663. Y'all got any of them sloppy seconds baseball tickets for Tigers versus Dirt Peckers? I just said that on the radio. Dirt Peckers.
In that context,
yeah,
you're fine.
Yeah, thank you. Lefty Tiger, we don't have any tickets. I will say this, though, Lefty Tiger, I'm glad you brought that up. I had a buddy of mine who was looking for tickets, and I don't know if there are any still out there or not, but Diesel, tomorrow's tickets, floor-filled, Clemson, South Carolina, lowest I saw was 150. I mean, it was high. And that's what I'm saying. Tomorrow, it's going to be a packed house at Floor Field tomorrow. Those things go like hotcakes, man, because that place isn't, huge. But it'll be slam full. Sorry, Lefty Tiger. If we had some for you, we'd hook you up. We really would.
Cole, we earlier in the show at 4:20, and those of you who want to go back and watch it, you can find it on the stream. You and I ran our 40-yard dashes. It's 40-ish yards.
Yep.
We ran it outside of the radio station, ran it from the Greenie the Turtle headstone to the second light post away from that. It's roughly 40 yards.
What's your name?
Rob Jones from WORD came out and was our timer for that. And Cole, you and I both ran a sub 5.540, which is pretty good.
Really good.
Considering the slowest defensive lineman in the draft, or in the combine, ran right at 5.35 40s. Now, offensive linemen, I don't think have gone yet. So what would you think? Would you think offensive linemen are faster or slower than defensive?
Slower.
You think they're slower?
100%.
So maybe we stand a chance.
Yeah, we do.
We stand a chance to be faster than some of the offensive linemen. And I ran a 5.45-ish. You ran a 5.15-ish. And I'm really proud about our times.
We did good.
And, the guy that hosts the show before us, Rich Eisen, has a tradition for St. Jude's of running the 40-yard dash in a business suit. And Rich, Cole, last year at 55 years old, ran a 6.25 I'm not sure.
We got him.
I'm not sure that 15 years from now, I'll be able to keep it within a second of where I am right now. Now, if I can do that, I will be blown away that I can do it. Because Rich is a lot like us. He's a broadcaster. He's on the road a lot. He's sitting in a studio talking for a living. He is not an athlete. He ran a 6.25 at 55 years old. But I've gone back and I've found some of his previous times. And in 2014, so 11 years ago, at 44 years old, Rich Eisen ran a 5.98.
Wow.
So that's probably the last time Rich has ever been sub 6 seconds, was at 44 years old. Do you think 4 years from now, I'll still be sub 6 seconds?
I would hope so. Scotty from BMW says, Rich is the man. I was happy when he took over Dan Patrick's slot on this day. You mean Jim Rome's slot?
Took over Jim Rome's slot.
Scotty also says Wolf of Wall Street, top 5 best.
Awesome
oh my God.
movie. You've
Maybe
seen
the
that,
best.
right?
Love it. Watch it. I love Wolf of Wall Street.
I think I say from now on, Cole, we refer to tickets that we're giving away as sloppy seconds. And if we ever have cash to give away, we call them fun coupons.
What was that again?
Fun coupons. That's what
For fun. Cool.
Yeah, that's what he calls it in Wolf of Wall Street.
That's such a good movie. It'd be a good night to watch that tonight.
Come on.
We can't.
It gets me every
we
time.
We can't air what was said before and after, right? About how many times do you a day? Remember that?
No, we can't do that. We got to go to the phone lines so we don't run off our Tolos. Dewey has something to say. Dewey, welcome to the show.
Yes. I'm going to have a laid-back weekend. There's no sports on that's worth watching. Hockey sucks. College basketball is about over, and it sucks. And the NBA is a bunch of petulant children who are overpaid and who complain too much. So I'm just going to sit back, and I'm going to go mow my grass. And then after that, I'll probably go to the bar, start a fight with someone, and go to jail.
That's a great plan.
Wow.
That is a great plan. Scotty from BMW says, got to get those numbers
Got
up.
a big weekend ahead. It's exciting.
Scotty, man, that's a great. I forget about. Got to get those numbers up. Remember?
Yeah, he's done it twice since he got here this morning.
Got to get those numbers up. Rick and Greer follows Dewey. Rick, it's been a while, buddy. What's up?
Well, I'm gonna play golf tomorrow.
It's a beautiful day.
Really? How are you going to find your golf ball out there?
I'm looking for a partner. I'm working a tournament in April, and all the people that work the tournament get to play tomorrow. So I'm looking for a partner to go to Augusta National and play with me tomorrow.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
Rick, I don't believe anything that you say.
It's the truth.
That's what you say every time.
Well, that's the truth. I'm working the tournament this year. Look, I married into a family that was well off. I'm not well off now because I'm divorced, but I married into a well-off family, okay? That's how I get to do all this stuff.
So you still get benefits even with a divorce?
Would
no.
you say you're friends with your ex-wife, Rick?
I'm friends with her father.
Okay. So you are friends with benefits with her father?
Yes. I mean, he kind of got me into the tournament. He's well known.
Oh, okay. Last name Wood first name start with a T, I'm sure, right?
It's Theodore.
Theodore, Teddy Woods.
I can't with Rick, man.
Nick Theodore.
Rick, you are so full of you-know-what I can't even stand.
No, I'm not.
You are so.
But I'm still with Dewey. I'm putting this out, Dewey. Do you want to go play Augusta National tomorrow? I'd love to have you as my partner.
I think that'd be a heck of a duo right there. Rick,
you got to film the whole thing.
Whoever we're playing, he would talk them to death. I'm telling you.
I'll tell you what, this reminds me, we were supposed to get to this a couple of weeks ago, but didn't. Rick, we're going to need your help. Diesel and I, we've been meaning to do this. We haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
We need to organize and plan, now that it's getting nice outside, a Tolo hang on the weekend somewhere warm, it warms up a little bit, somewhere nice in the upstate, maybe one for Spartanburg, one for Greenville. That way, we don't have Tolos dry. But you guys, y'all are freaking hilarious, and we gotta plan something to get y'all all together because Diesel, I don't know, when you get all these Tolos together, it might be comedy.
Rick, can we use your ice cream shop for our Tolo hang?
Surely can.
Cool.
It's right down on Main Street in Sugar Tit. I mean, you can't miss it.
Is it? Can we get a free soft serve each?
Oh yeah, that soft serve's good.
What do you think about the Tolo hang, Rick? You down? You ready for it? You good with it?
Yeah, I want to get Tom and me and what's the guy that was just got off the phone?
Dewey.
Yeah.
Madcraft.
I gotta have Madcraft there.
JD.
I don't think you guys did.
DB, all of them.
Dan B, yeah.
Rick, appreciate the call, man.
Thanks, Rick.
Let's see. Scotty says, Rick, come out and volunteer for the BMW Charity Pro-Am. I do it every year. Scotty, we were there last year, but if you're there this year, you need to come see us. Come say hello.
Rob Jones says, friends with benefits with his ex-wife's father. This show just turned into Jerry Springer.
Jerry. All right, high school basketball, Lou Bezjak next. Time to bring it local in this very segment and talk a little high school basketball with one of the absolute best. Lou Bezjak of the state newspaper covers high school basketball. Upper state championships happening right now. Began last night in Florence, South Carolina. And Lou is there. So we go to Florence, South Carolina and bring in Lou Bezjak of the state newspaper. Lou, how are you, man?
Pretty good, Cole. How you doing, man?
Let's try that again. Lou, can you hear us now?
Yeah, Cole. How's
Sorry
it going?
about that. I'm good, man. Fantastic. Appreciate you hopping on with us. Look, man, you're in Florence for Upper State Title Weekend. We, on our document.
Lower State, too.
Lower State as well. Thank you for that. Upper State and Lower State. You know, it makes a lot of sense, Lou, just first of all, for Lower State to be in Florence. Just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know your thoughts on that, if you want to speak on that, but we can start there. Thomas Ryan was on the show a couple of days ago, and
I listened.
Yeah, he was very vocal about it. What are your thoughts on Upper State playing in Florence?
Well, I think they just need to get the name Upper and Lower State out of the bracket. Just say Upper and Lower State bracket, or just bracket 1, bracket 2, and just I'm a fan of the one site though for both all the semifinals.
So
I think it's good if you want to watch. Yeah, I'm a big, whether it be in Florence, Columbia, Greenville, whatever. I'm a fan of the one site for all the semifinals and then even the finals. So yeah, I like it. I know it's a little taxing for some of the teams like Dorman. I think Walhalla, the Walhalla girls that play later tonight. I know they spend the night. A lot of teams spending the night because this year they're letting teams at least shoot around before on the day of the game. So I don't know if Dorman's coming down tonight so they could shoot around in the morning before their games tomorrow night. So that's at least you get at least about an hour to get used to the backdrop in the facility. But we'll see. It's year 2. We'll see going forward if it's going to be continue or just they'll go back to 2 separate sites. I know it will be talked about in a couple weeks. So when the ADs meet in the spring in Charleston.
Lou is, and forgive me, I know I'm not as plugged into high school sports as you and Cole Bryson are, but is it a result of, they would like to put it in Columbia, but the facilities availability just isn't there? Obviously, with South Carolina men's and women's basketball still playing right now, it'd be hard to get into Colonial Life Arena. I don't know if there are other arenas big enough to be able to handle that have the right amount of amenities for it. Is that the reasoning behind putting it in Florence in the first place?
Yeah, because like Columbia, they could Colonial Life couldn't commit to they're doing 9 days, 8 games, or 8 days in 9 days, something like that. 9 days, 10, I forget, but yeah, they couldn't with USC men and women still going on, and I know Greenville's booked too. They got the SEC with the SEC women's championship there, so it's a little bit hard there as well. So this is the only, as far as the biggest facility that can accommodate it. I mean, there's maybe some big high school gyms, but or maybe even North Charleston, but that hasn't. I don't think they put in a bid. And Florence has kind of worked with the high school league and as far as the pricing and stuff. And they moved the wrestling championships down here from Anderson to there this is the first year for that. They did that last weekend. I know that was a success. We're talking to some of the wrestling coaches, so we'll see. Like I said, they're trying something different, one site thing, and just basically 9 straight days of basketball for people to come watch.
That's a lot of basketball, spread out, Lou, like you said, over the course of 9 days. 2A girls, Eau Claire versus Clinton on March 4th. 3A girls, St. Joe's and Walhalla tonight at 6 o'clock. 4A girls, South Point and Westside. 5A girls Division I, J.O. Man and Blythewood. 5A girls Division II, Greenville and Greenwood on March the 5th. Starting with the girls' side of things, Lou, the girls' side of the bracket, really good state championships, or upper state and lower state championships that you're going to see over the course of those 9 days, as you talked about. Which game or games, you can add an S on there as well, really intrigue you the most when you look at this girls' slate?
Yeah, I think you hit it, Blythewood Jail, man. This is Blythewood's only second appearance. They're pretty talented. They got the experienced team, even not too many seniors, but they've been playing together a long time. And Jail Man is really good and beat a good Dutch Fork team. So I think definitely that's one of the games for sure. Getting to watch the Andrew Jackson girls 2A, they might blow through the competition, but I think that's going to be their games are going to be phenomenal. And then the Class A state championship next week, that the two teams that won yesterday, Lee Central Military Magnet, should be really fun for sure. And I think everyone knows about the 5A Division I. We got one team already in the state championship with Somerville advancing after Ashley Ridge was booted out of the playoffs officially today when they lost their appeal to the appellate panel. So because of the use of an eligible player. So Somerville's already punched their ticket to the 5A girls, and they should be fun to see if they play J. Old Man or Blythewood. I think that will be a good championship game as well.
Lou Bezjak of the State Newspaper covers high school sports all over the state of South Carolina. I know it was a big point of contention in the football playoffs, and I think maybe we've had you on a time or two before and asked this question specifically when it comes to football, but I want to ask it about basketball as well. How prevalent are the charter schools in the state playoffs? Again, forgive me for not knowing high schools as well as you two do, but are any of these schools charter schools, and does it feel like they just have a massive advantage?
Well, I mean, they got two that are playing. And one right now, Oceanside Girls, they've moved up to 3A, but this is their first trip there. Their boys lost the other night to Keenan. Great Collegiate, which has been a kind of staple of the boys. They lost in a thriller the other night in North Augusta, and they're used to being here. And then we got another one. We got a new school, Atlantic Collegiate, which is in their first year, and they're in 2A, and the Atlantic Collegiate boys. They're going to be playing in next week. So we got two. I know we had the success with Mountain View going to the championship in their first year, but I think going forward, the charter schools, at least in the first couple of years, I don't think they're going to be new schools aren't going to be eligible for the playoffs. I think either their first year or second year, either first year for sure, and then maybe it'll be 2 years before they're eligible for the playoffs. I think they have that. So going forward, some teams have had success in their first couple of years, some have not, but yeah, and we're just going to get more charter schools on the way. I know there's one opening up in Hilton Head next year, and I think one in the Florence area, and we just had another one open up in Lexington. They didn't have the success in football and basketball yet so far this year.
Hey, Lou, you mentioned the situation with Ashley Ridge. I obviously saw bits and pieces of it online on social media, but for those of us up here in the upstate, we had a similar situation, I believe, with Somerville back during baseball season that Diesel and I talked about. But refresh us, let us know what happened with Ashley Ridge, and I believe you just mentioned that they are disqualified. Is that right, from the playoffs?
Yeah, they lost their yesterday 14-0 before the executive committee and 5-0 today. Yeah, we had something like that. It was more with the pitch count.
That's right.
In baseball, it involved Ashley Ridge benefited from that because Somerville was disqualified because they threw two kids threw too many pitches in the series. But yeah, they came to the high school league's attention. Anonymous source actually turned in both Somerville and Ashley Ridge, but Somerville won their appeal yesterday, and Ashley Ridge they admit they messed up this part. They didn't file the girl that played at Cane Bay last year, and she transferred, and they never filed the paperwork. And but they were trying to. Their appeal today was more. And then the high school league said she didn't have the bona fide change of address, so that was 2 strikes against them. But they were arguing today that, yeah, we screwed up with the paperwork, but there was a bona fide change of address, and if they would just be the paperwork, it would be like $100 fine. But here, it was voted against. I mean, they tried everything they could. They threw everything they could today, but it was just no. So it's interesting. I hate it. And they wrote even a letter to the appellate panel just trying to state in their case girls from the basketball team. But you hate it because they worked so hard. They were the #1 team in the state in 5A Division I, and now don't get to play, at least in the semifinals. So you hate it, but things like that, it falls on the adults most of the time, and it'll be interesting to see they're with that one-time transfer rule now being talked about and going to be voted on in March to see what happens if that passes, and things might loosen up a little bit, and maybe we don't see something like this going forward.
Lou, among these schools that are still in it, especially here in the upper part of the state, who is your favorite team, regardless of division, like style of play, or a team maybe that you think they could go toe-to-toe with just about anybody who's in the playoffs, regardless of division?
Yeah, I think you look up in, I like Dorman. I do. I love Thomas Ryan. I love what he's done at the program, and them playing Blythewood, which I think they've had a great year. They got T.J. Lewis, one of the best players in the state, had a school record 45 points earlier this year, and that should be a fun semifinal. And then you look at Ridgeview on the other side of the bracket. I mean, they're going for a second straight championship. I think 6th overall. So I really like those teams, and I think the 4A games on Monday. You got Lancaster and in the upper state, Lancaster and Wren, and then you got Wilson playing North Augusta. That should be a really fun matchup. Those 4 games, I think 4A is, my opinion, has been the best as far as like top to bottom, the depth in that classification, both boys and girls. I think the 2 semifinal games on Monday, or the 4 semifinal games on Monday, have a chance to be really special.
Hey, Lou, you mentioned Dorman, and I want to park there for a second for this question. We talk about this with other levels, with Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. What quarterbacks and what teams did not win a Super Bowl because of Patrick Mahomes, because of Tom Brady? Dorman has put, quite the resume on paper the last decade and a half, and I believe the Blythewood, a little bit of similarities there, or familiarity, rather, because of them playing in, I think, Thomas Ryan's first or second state championship.
It was the first one, yeah.
First one, right? And they won. And you look back, there's been some good 5A teams, and I ask you the same question. With Dorman is being as strong as they've been, what programs do you feel like have had really good teams but just haven't been able to get over the hump because of Thomas Ryan and the Cavaliers?
I think Irmo, even though they won their championships, they look at the team they beat and the other team. I mean, you look at even Burns. I mean, they won their state championship, but who knows how many they would have won? Maybe they've been good. Same can be said for like Ridgeview. They've been bouncing around between 4A and about 5A now with the split, and that's why if you get Ridgeview and Dorman state championship, I think people would sign up for that. I mean, they met a few years ago in I think the 3rd round. The COVID year, maybe, when G.G. Jackson was there and Dorman came in and won. So, Dorman's definitely been the standard, and Ridgeview as well. So they've kind of separated themselves in the top classifications, 4A and 5A, from everyone else.
Lou, a couple of hours ago, you posted or retweeted a video of a robot painting lines on a baseball field. Really fascinating just to watch this thing happen. It feels like I'm watching Star Wars and R2-D2 is out there painting the lines on this thing. I just wonder how long in your mind, because it seems like it's happening faster and faster every year, will it take for technology on that scale, that automated balls and strikes, Hawkeye tech that's coming to football, all those types of things, to start trickling down to the high school level? I know they're working on the Hawkeye at the major league level, in the NFL level. They're working on automated balls and strikes at the major league level. That stuff's going to start trickling down. So in your mind, if you had to take a guess, how many years away are we from seeing that stuff in high school?
I would probably say the high school level, maybe like a decade or so, or maybe a little less. You already saw it. It started, was it last year? Yeah, with the pitch, coaches being able to talk to the catchers with the headset or the earpiece, and you could signal in the pitch on the wristband to the pitcher. I mean, that was approved by the National Federation a year or two ago, and I know it's popular, and most of the teams use it, and it helps. You don't have to do the old antiquated signals. If your signal's been getting, it's going right into your ear, and your pitcher could look into the wristband. So I think stuff like that will probably trickle its way down. It might not be as quick. But I think we'll definitely see it sooner rather than later.
Lou, before we let you run, my last question for you. You mentioned it already. There will be a proposal sometime soon for there to be a rule implemented for a one-time transfer, and that's it. You probably have the name of the rule, and it's a lot more professional than what I just said. But can you go into that a little bit more in depth?
Yeah, it's going to be voted on. It was already approved by the executive committee. Now it will go before the AD meeting in a few weeks in Charleston. It's a one-time transfer rule in your first 6 semesters. So between your freshman, sophomore, junior year, you get one time. You can go anywhere you want. But you can go anywhere you want as long as it's done before the start of practice or the start of the season. If you go after you have to sit out penalties, think of percentage of games and stuff like that. And if you wait till your senior year, you would to do it. If you don't do it until your senior year, you're ineligible for the playoffs. Wow. You'll be able to transfer. You could transfer that year, but you would be ineligible for the playoffs. I think the little twist would be next year. Obviously, the first year, what do you do with the seniors? That are seniors, that are going to be seniors. But I think that you could just apply for a hardship that way. But it's definitely going to be a game-changing thing. I do think it's going to pass. Something like that was voted on a couple years ago, but it wasn't much. The proposal didn't have much teeth. They've done a good job researching the people and at the high school league and on the executive panel in the committee that did this. I think New Jersey's kind of the model they followed, and it just kind of prevents kids from jumping from school to school. Yeah, you can do it. I mean, if there's a legitimate, people's like, what if it's a legitimate move and you already used your one-time transfer? Then you would have to apply for a hardship, or there's kind of exceptions with military, or if kids homeless or something like that. But I do think it's going to pass. There's a lot of momentum, and especially with things like this week with Ashley Ridge and what's happened then, transfer, at least one-time thing, it puts it out of the hands. The schools along, I guess the caveat is, kids, you're going to have room in the school. Some kids, you're going to have to have space for them. But I do look for it to pass. I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. It definitely will be a game-changing thing and would go into effect next season, next fall for the 25-26 school year.
Lou, can you go into just a tiny bit more detail about what you said about being ineligible for the playoffs? Now, would that be the entire team? Would that be that individual
just
player?
A kid that transferred, just a kid.
So,
I waited to my senior year and transferred, and then I'm using my one-time senior year. Yeah, I could play the whole season, could go through all the practices. I just wouldn't be able to play in the playoffs with the team.
That's awesome. Lou, you're the best, man. Appreciate you hopping on with us. We will talk to you soon. We'll always appreciate your time, man.
All right, Cole. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
I love that, Diesel. I love that.
Yeah, that's really interesting because it sounds like, let's just say star player transfers senior year. He can play and get his team to the playoff, but then can't play in the playoffs.
There's no way that would happen, right?
Consider, when you think about the way the NCAA handles some things, and they'll make a team essentially forfeit all games that had a player playing in it. But that's not going to be the case in South Carolina.
One-time transfer. So wow. I like it. Before your junior, before your
I do want to
year.
know how strict this hardship rule is going to be, because how easy is it going to be to get around this hardship rule?
Yeah, probably have to physically, like he said, show change of address and physically move, and then maybe even knock on the door and check that you do live there and you're not shacked up with other players in an apartment. You know what I mean? It happens.
Fascinating.
It is. bringing you home on this Friday. Hope you Tolos are off of work already, headed home, or maybe already home. If you are, let me know if you plan to watch. 15 minutes from now, South Carolina and Clemson getting going at Doug Kingsmore Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. Jack Veltri of Gamecock Central just put out on Twitter 3 minutes ago a video of Monty Lee, the assistant skipper, getting South Carolina ready to roll, getting the team fired up. And he also put out a video of the atmosphere at Doug Kingsmore right now, the visiting bullpen area. Man, that place is packed out. And if you do not know, Clemson made a little bit of an adjustment with their visiting bullpen. It now is right in the fans' lap. I mean, it really is. So it's right in the fans' lap. Clemson, South Carolina, less than 15 minutes from first pitch tonight. The Friday game is at Clemson. The Saturday game here in Greenville at Fluor Field, and then the Sunday game is at South Carolina in Columbia. So Tolos, let me know if you plan to head that way for one of the 3 games this weekend. Diesel Rand, he's going to a little stand-up comedy tonight. Diesel taking in some comedy over in the Berg, over in Sparkle City, if you will. If you missed the show earlier, I think we talked Clemson, South Carolina in the 4 o'clock hour. And I'll revisit that for you Tolos that maybe just tuned in, maybe just now on the way home or from dinner or from work or wherever you are on this Friday evening. It was a nice day outside, by the way, today, wasn't it? I picked Clemson. I picked Clemson to cover not only 2 games this weekend, but 3 games. I like Clemson to sweep the series against South Carolina. I think, number one, Clemson has offensive firepower in every spot of the lineup that I believe is going to be a problem for South Carolina consistently all weekend. I really do. Look, I like South Carolina's team. I think they've got some potential. We all know how good Ethan Petrie is, and Kennedy Jones, in my mind, has the ability to be that guy for South Carolina. I think their bats, South Carolina's bats, will get rolling more and more throughout the course of the season once it warms up. But I think firepower-wise, you look at Clemson, and they just have a little bit more firepower. Here we are, late February. And also, let's talk about Dylan Eskew, the Friday guy, the ace for the Gamecocks. First year for Paul Maneri, man, already facing some challenges. You lost one pitcher during the preseason, and then now Dylan Eskew goes down. Last weekend, went out of the game in the 2nd inning, I believe, with some back soreness, back tightness. A week later, Dylan Eskew is not in the rotation. He's not the guy on Friday night for the South Carolina Gamecocks. So it's interesting because Dylan Eskew's your ace. Now you have your Saturday guy in Matthew Becker going out there tonight against Aiden Canuck for Clemson, who's phenomenal, one of the best pitchers in the ACC. So tonight, Matthew Becker versus Aiden Canuck. Tomorrow, Ethan Darden for Clemson versus Jake McCoy from South Carolina. And then on Sunday, question marks all over the place. Question marks as Clemson Sunday guy. You know, they had an injury during the preseason as well. And South Carolina right now has TBA as their pitcher. And I don't know how good of a pitcher TBA is, but to be announced has some big shoes to fill because Justin Lujernik is going for Clemson on Sunday in Columbia. And I was told it looks like that Jack Veltri of Gamecock Central is reporting that they may see how Dylan Eskew is on Sunday. He's normally the Friday guy, but if he can wake up on Sunday, from what I was told, with no back soreness, he may go Sunday. He may go. So if South Carolina somehow, some way could steal one tonight or tomorrow at Fluor Field, they could possibly roll Dylan Eskew out on Sunday, and boy, that'd be big. That'd be really big. Again, I'm predicting a Clemson sweep. I think the firepower is just too much. Their lineup, led by Cam Canarella, is deadly. I could be wrong. South Carolina could get a game, but I think Aiden Canuck tonight will be the difference maker. He is too good of a pitcher to give up a lot of runs tonight. If you told me right now that Aiden Canuck is going to give up, 4, 5, 6, 7 runs tonight, I would be shocked. Now, obviously, he's not going to pitch the whole game, and Clemson's bullpen will have to step up. But I think Aiden Canuck tonight for the Tigers is going to make things difficult for the Gamecocks. Talking about 1 through 9 through that lineup, and then tomorrow Ethan Darden versus Jake McCoy. Jake McCoy, was, I guess, supposed to be the Sunday guy. And now Jake McCoy making a start at Floor Field in front of a sold-out crowd. Ethan Darden, he's been there before. He's a returner for this Clemson team. I don't know. I could be dead wrong. I've been dead wrong once or twice before, but I don't know. It feels like the odds are stacked against the Gamecocks this weekend. And for that reason, I'm going Clemson to sweep the series Friday, tonight, starting in about 8 minutes. Clemson, South Carolina in Doug Kingsmore Stadium, and then tomorrow at Floor Field. Sunday, 5 o'clock start on Sunday, by the way, in Columbia. But we shall see, as they say. I love college baseball. Clemson's a really, really good team. I think South Carolina has the potential, but at the end of the day, this Clemson team, I believe, has the mindset of Omaha or bust. I really do. Tolos, we will see you on Monday right here on the Fan Upstate. We appreciate you, and we will see you then.